This is Guardian Radio, your station for up-to-the-minute news, intelligent, interactive, and engaging conversation. 96.9 FM. The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the position of the management and staff of Guardian Network.
Good morning. No end in sight. Bahamians being urged to conserve as fuel prices remain elevated. The FM1's answers on the BPL fuel charge. And we are getting all the details about an upcoming free community legal aid clinic. What you need to know. It's all straight ahead this morning. I'm Dwight Strachan, and this is Morning Blend.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of a new way. You know that it's here. It's the start of the end of the old way. Wake up, it's a new day. 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 Wake up, wake up.
Good morning again, Bahamas. It is Wednesday, June 22nd, 2022. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Again, I'm Dwight Strachan. In a moment, Chester Robards will be joining us. Also, in Morning Blend Business, we are going to be talking with the Bahamas Insurance Association. They've got a number of concerns, a number of issues they want addressed. We're going to be talking with them about that. But first, it's time for the overnight, the latest breaking news from while we're sleeping, and the top national and international headlines this morning. In the overnight, Acting Prime Minister Chester Cooper warning Bahamians that there's no end in sight to high fuel prices. He's speaking to reporters outside the weekly cabinet meeting, urging everyone to conserve. He says they anticipate that prices are going to be escalated for the foreseeable future and that the government has put in place significant measures in the budget to reduce the cost of living. Cooper says policies implemented by the government are causing prices to go down for some consumers. He says the Davis administration promised to deliver relief to Bahamians as they grapple with the high cost of living. He says they are, with the gas prices continuing to climb for the last 4 months, the surge in the price of gas per gallon largely been attributed to Russia's invasion of Ukraine on February 24th. As of yesterday, gas prices averaged well, hovering around $7, ranging from $6.97 to $7.39 per gallon. F&M leader Michael Pintard calling on Works and Utilities Minister Alfred Sears to provide an update on BPL's hedging program and indicate whether the power company will increase its fuel charge. While noting that the opposition is deeply concerned, Pintard pointed to BPL CEO Siobhan Cambridge's assertion in the Tribune that an internal review is underway to determine whether there will be a fuel charge rate increase. He says the situation could have been avoided as the F&M left the first ever fuel hedging arrangement in place before the general election. Former F&M Chairman Carl Culmer criticizing a recent report completed by a U.S. consultancy firm into the party's election defeat last year, noting that the leadership of the party had difficulty obtaining the report. Culmer says the report was never shared with the party's election coordinator, Dr. Nigel Lewis, and the former deputy leader, Peter Turnquest, or himself. He said the present leadership team had difficulty obtaining the report as well. And 3 men arraigned on drug and weapons charges following their arrests on June 17th. 23-year-old Samuel Cooper, 34-year-old Byron Cooper, and 26-year-old John Saunders pleaded not guilty to 2 counts of possession of an unlicensed firearm, 2 counts of possession of ammunition, and 1 count of drug possession with intent to supply at their arraignment before Magistrate Samuel Kinney. Both Coopers are from Cooperstown in Abaco, and Saunders from McLeanstown. Officers of the Drug Enforcement Unit were conducting an operation in McLeanstown when they allegedly saw 3 men get out of a vessel and get into a white van. The officers pursued the vehicle, and the driver allegedly tossed a bag from the vehicle during the chase. After officers caught up with the suspects, they took them back to the area where the bag was thrown and searched it, and allegedly found a 9mm pistol, 4 rounds of ammunition, 44mm pistols, a pistol, and 9 rounds of 45mm ammunition, along with 5 bricks of cocaine. The defendants denied possession of the contraband and were each granted $9,500 bail for the firearms and $9,500 for the drug case. They're expected to go to trial on September 1st. And a man jailed for 1 year after he hid a loaded gun under his mattress following a police chase. 28-year-old Edward Johnson of Fleming Street will spend an additional 6 months in custody if he can't pay a $7,500 fine by the end of his sentence. Officers were on patrol on March 16, 2021, when they received a description of a suspected gunman on Fleming Street. Responding officers went to Fleming Street, where they spotted Johnson, who matched the description of the suspect, with a backpack. Johnson reportedly fled after he looked in the direction of the approaching patrol car. Officers chased him, and Johnson ran into his family's home with the police officers in hot pursuit. The officers saw when he ran into his bedroom, raised the mattress, and threw the backpack underneath it. The lawman retrieved the backpack and found a black Glock 26 pistol with 7 rounds of 9mm ammunition inside. Magistrate Samuel McKinney found Johnson guilty of possession of an unlicensed firearm and ammunition following a trial. McKinney told Johnson that firearms offenses attracted a maximum possible sentence of 10 years imprisonment. However, Johnson did not receive the stiffest penalty, as he had no prior convictions, and he was gainfully employed in the construction field at the time of his arrest. Overseas, scientists say climate change is a factor behind the erratic and early rains that triggered unprecedented flooding in Bangladesh and northern India, killing dozens and making lives miserable for millions of others. Although the region is no stranger to flooding, it typically takes place later in the year when monsoon rains are underway. This year's torrential rainfall lashed the area as early as March. It may take much longer to determine the extent to which climate change played a role in the floods, but scientists say it has made the monsoon, a seasonal change in weather usually associated with strong rains, much more variable over the past few decades. This means that much of the rain expected to fall in a year is arriving in a space of weeks. And extended drought conditions in several Mediterranean countries. A heat wave last week that reached northern Germany and high fuel costs for aircraft needed to fight wildfires have heightened concerns across Europe this summer. And it's only June. fires last summer blackened more than 11,000 square kilometers or 4,250 square miles of land, an area more than 4 times the size of Luxembourg. About half of the damage was in the European Union. Experts say Europe's wildfires aren't just a problem for the southern hotter countries. They're saying countries, including the UK and Germany, as well as Scandinavian countries in the future, may need to address wildfire issues much more often. Wildfires across Spain have destroyed tens of thousands of acres of wooded land, though a recent sharp drop in temperatures is helping firefighters contain them. In sports, Bahamian teenage swimming sensation Lamar Taylor lowering his own national record in the 100 meters freestyle, swimming at the 19th FINA World Championships in Budapest, Hungary yesterday. Taylor was in action as he swam out of lane 2 in heat 6 of that event, the 19-year-old touching the wall in 50.36 seconds, a new national record, to finish third in his heat. He shaved 0.16 seconds off his previous personal best time of 50.52. Taylor saying that he's ecstatic about lowering the record. He clocked 23.50 in his first 50 meters. Then in his final 50 meters came back home with 26.86 seconds. Read more about how he's doing and others in Hungary in today's Guardian Sports section. And the Bombs' under-15 boys national basketball team rebounding from 3 tough losses at the FIBA Americas Central Basket Championships in Puerto Rico, winning emphatically yesterday, but they're still out of contention for a spot in the 2023 FIBA Americas Under-16 Championship. On the heels of 3 double-digit losses, the Bombs slammed Costa Rica 94-57. Just the top 3 nations will qualify for next year's FIBA Americas Championship, though, and that means after losing their first 3 games, the Bahamas is now out of contention. They'll play their final single round-robin game at 3 p.m. today, taking on Turks and Caicos in a game for placement. In yesterday's encounter, the Bahamas raced out to an early lead in the first quarter and never looked back. 2 minutes into the game, the Bahamas already ahead 10-2. They led 18-11 after 1. That's sports, and that's the overnight. Time for your first look at weather.
Imagine driving your dream.
Got your first look at weather for this morning. We've got high pressure building across the area, generating fresh to moderate breezes. There remains a risk of waterspout and tornado activity, though, and a moderate risk of rip currents on north and east coast beaches in the northwest and central Bahamas. For all areas today, forecast calls for variably cloudy, warm, and breezy conditions with a few scattered showers and isolated thunderstorms through tonight. Stormcraft caution in effect for the northwest and central Bahamas this morning. Expect gusty winds and higher seas in or near heavy showers and thunderstorms. Winds northeast to east at 15 to 20 knots, falling to 10 to 15 knots by this afternoon in the northwest and central Bahamas. East-northeast to east-southeast at 10 knots or less in the southeastern islands. Seas 4 to 6 feet, but higher in gusts, dropping off to 2 to 4 feet this afternoon in the northwest and central islands, 1 to 3 feet in the southeast Bahamas. Temperature-wise today, right now we're at about 79 degrees under fair skies. We're looking at highs getting up to around 90 Fahrenheit, 32 Celsius. Overnight lows tonight getting down to about 78 Fahrenheit, 26 Celsius. That's your first look at weather this morning. We'll have your extended outlook and a look at the tropics coming up after traffic in just a bit. It's time for a break, but when we come back, we're discussing more and your day's top stories right here on Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9, your home for fresh news and smart talk all day.
Imagine driving your dream car, doing all the things you never thought you could, like perfecting your parallel parking skills or picking up your date. Everyone loves to dream. Stop dreaming. Start driving with a brand new offer from Scotiabank. With an auto loan from Scotiabank, benefit from no payments for up to 2 months, a low interest rate up to 9 years to repay, and free insurance for the first year up to 2.5% of the loan amount. Promotion ends June 30th, 2022. Stop dreaming and start driving today with an auto loan from Scotiabank.
Technology serves to make our lives better, so why not your business too? At Custom Computers, we've been maintaining our knowledge and relationships with top tech companies since 1987 and carry only the most trusted brands like Apple, Microsoft, HP, and more. No company has helped more businesses build reliable IT systems than Custom Computers. You name it, we've done it. Call 396-1101 to talk to any of our business experts. Find trust in your tech. Count on Custom Computers.
Tired of banks forcing you to use technology to bank the way they want you to? Your convenience is important. So no matter what your banking needs, Commonwealth Bank's friendly staff are always available in branch for that personal one-on-one service. But when you choose technology, our online and mobile banking app offers you state-of-the-art functionality. The choice is yours. Commonwealth Bank. Bank the way you want.
Around the world, Cleveland Clinic is recognized as a leader in healthcare. Our team of experts relentlessly pursues the best for our patients. From groundbreaking cancer research to state-of-the-art heart surgery, life-saving innovations happen here every day. When it's time to travel for your health, it's time to travel to Cleveland Clinic. Your destination for care, for every care in the world. To learn more, visit clevelandclinic.org/Caribbean.
Switch for better when you move your mortgage to Scotiabank. Leave behind that old mortgage plan and open the door to a low interest rate. No payments for up to 2 months and cash back of 2.5% of the mortgage amount up to US $10,000. And guess what? It gets better. Apply for your Scotiabank credit card and enjoy a low 9.99% introductory rate for the first 6 months. Switch for better and upgrade your mortgage today with Scotiabank. Offer ends June 30th, 2022.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of a new way. You know that it's here. It's the start of the end of the old way. Wake up, it's a new day. 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 Wake up, wake up.
Welcome back to Morning Blend here on Guardian Radio 96.9. We are streaming live on GuardianTalkRadio.com and on the Guardian Radio app for smart devices. We're also on your televisions on Cable Bahamas Channel 969 and BTC Flow Channel 612. You can tweet us at Morning Blend 969 or facebook.com/morningblend969. Text us on the Guardian Radio text line, powered by BTC, 422-4796. Standard text rates apply. Once again, I'm Dwight Strachan. Joining me now, Chester Robards. Good morning, Chester Robards.
Good morning.
Hope all's well with you.
Everything's good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Got a big day coming up.
It's yes.
You.
Yeah, what is that big?
A big one.
Is it the big one?
Yeah. So I was trying to figure out, should I tell you that now or tell you that on next week Wednesday after the fact? Are you even going to be here next week Wednesday?
I don't know.
Oh, wow.
Everything's up in the air.
Oh, boy. Anyway, Chester's got a birthday coming up. So happy pre-birthday. Is that how it works?
Yes,
yeah,
probably.
okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Or unbirthday, I don't know, according to Alice in Wonderland.
Oh, boy. Okay. Anyway, usually I take vacation this week and make you work.
It's true.
Look at that.
That's
What's
true.
this all about?
Yeah, what is this?
I don't know.
Climate change?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Blame it on that. All of my money has gone up in smoke.
Oh, boy.
So there you go. But anyway, hope you enjoy it.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I won't have you working on your birthday for once.
For once. Yeah.
Look at that. Anyway, we got a lot to get to this morning, including more weather and traffic, and we're going to be talking about an upcoming free legal aid clinic, a community legal aid clinic. We're going to get the details about that, and later in Morning Blend Business, we will be talking with the BIA, the Bahamas Insurance Association. They've been talking about a lot of things. You wrote quite a few stories on them this week, didn't you? Did I read that right?
A member.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll talk about some of their issues this morning. But there's a lot to talk about in the news. And in the news, big headline in the Nassau Guardian, no end in sight. Bahamians urged to conserve as fuel prices remain elevated. We've been watching this for months now. And what is the very latest? I saw that some of the prices went up yesterday. So we're averaging, well, we're ranging from $6.97 to $7.39 a gallon in New Providence. It's been well over $7 in many of the Family Islands for a while now. And probably over $8 at this rate, but so practically $7 to $7.39 at the moment, and no end in sight. Our Jasper Ward writing about this. Acting Prime Minister Chester Cooper warning yesterday the Bahamians that there's no end in sight to higher fuel prices. He said, quote, "As it relates to consumers, I would simply say to conserve. We anticipate the prices are going to be escalated for the foreseeable future, and we simply have to conserve the way we would use energy otherwise. The one thing I would add, though, is that our government has put in place significant measures in the budget to reduce the cost of living." Yeah, okay. He said, quote, "We hope that those changes that we have made in our policies will trickle to the pockets directly to the Bahamian people. We're seeing it at the cash register already." Okay. So basically, your food might be a little bit less, but the money that you saved will go toward gas.
Right.
So we just end up at no savings, basically.
Right.
So nothing's changed.
Right.
Cooper says policies implemented by the government are causing prices to go down for consumers. Everything but fuel prices. Okay. So
At least
conserve.
things didn't go up.
Right, that could have happened.
just remain
yes,
flat.
Yes, that is one positive way to look at it, because it could have been food going up and fuel going up.
Right.
And true, that is a very positive way to look at it.
Absolutely.
Yes. Gas prices in the Bahamas have continued to climb for the last 4 months. The surge in the price of gas per gallon has largely been attributed to Russia's invasion of Ukraine on February 24th. As of yesterday, gas prices in New Providence were $6.97 at Shell, $6.98 at Rubis, and $7.39 at Esso. Before Russia's attack, gas prices ranged from $5.16 to $5.37. Now, Bahamas Petroleum Retailers Association Vice President Vasco Bastian saying yesterday that he hopes gas prices will not get any higher. He declined to respond to Cooper's comments. Gas station operators who threatened to strike in April have maintained that they are not benefiting from the rising prices at the pump. For example, a gallon of gas that is $6.16 at the gas station operators will take home 54 cents, and the petroleum wholesalers will take home 34 cents. The landed cost of the gas before VAT will be $3.56 and $1.72 go to duties and taxes. Gas station operators continue to call on the government to intervene, noting that the situation has reached crisis level for them. All right, so, many things have been proposed. We've said perhaps if only temporarily, drop the VAT, drop the tax, something, but that could have other consequences, I guess, for the government and revenue. But, even in the U.S., they are seriously considering this, right? U.S. President Joe Biden is calling on Congress to approve a 3-month gas tax holiday. 3 months. 3 months. According to NBC News, that request would mark the most significant effort yet by the president to try and bring down gas prices. But it's likely to face Republican opposition on Capitol Hill. So this is what we said a few months ago, right? Perhaps a month, 2 months, 3 months, something.
Yeah.
And that was ruled out. I think the prime minister said that if you do these things, then what's going to suffer? What won't get done? And yeah, that's a very valid question, right? But maybe we can. Maybe we can delay some of the other things that we were hoping to do to bring some relief. But what say you on this, folks? What should be done? Should we push for a gas tax holiday as well, or just conserve? Everybody just carpool, walk, work remotely. What can be done at this point? Let's hear from you. 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259. Tweet us, Facebook us, text us, 422-4796.
When you say push for a gas tax holiday, what do you mean?
Continue to call on them to drop the tax for a month to 3 months.
Call on them.
Mm-hmm.
How does that work?
Just every time they hear us talk, that's all that we say. Every time you see them out, you say, Minister, how about the gas tax holiday? They're like, how are you feeling today? I'd feel better if you gave us a gas tax holiday. That kind of thing. And then they say, what about the potholes? Well, you all don't fix them now. No. But, yeah. No? You don't think that will do anything?
I don't know. Do you
it's either
know of anything that's been accomplished doing that?
I don't personally know. But that doesn't mean that it can't happen. I mean, all they hear from us is, my cousin needs a job, or my son needs a job, right? That's all they hear. Where do you can give me that contract? They don't hear you saying, we need you to do this.
But I feel like they have already said about the gas, we can let it play out. Several times.
Play right out of our wallet.
Several times. What are you going to do?
What are we going to do? What are we going to do? What do you propose, folks? Right? The gas station owners, the retail operators seem like they are just waiting to press the button to strike. But what would that do? What would that accomplish? Have they done the numbers? Have they said, okay, fine. What if we did drop the tax for a few weeks? Would it cause everything to collapse, or could we do it? Could we do it? Run the numbers, Ministry of Finance, and say, well, if we did this, we definitely wouldn't be able to pave this. We definitely wouldn't be able to finish this building. We definitely wouldn't be able to host this. We definitely wouldn't, and say, okay, well, we could maybe live with that.
You want all those answers?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. 323-6232, 325-4316. How are they making decisions? 325-4259, right? I would hope that you run the... And again, we were saying this before they were saying this over there. But anyway, good morning, call. You're on the air.
Good morning, Glenn, and thank you for taking my call.
Hi.
Good morning.
You know, historically, we have seen other dominant currencies, like, the Dutch from the 19th century, I think, then the Spanish dollar, then the sterling. Now we have the U.S., which is the global reserve currency, right? Now, while authorities are here saying that we should be conservative, I think we need also to encourage people to earn money. Oil, right now, the dollar doesn't look too good. Crypto, I think, is finished, if you can see what the value is now. So there seems to be a leaning toward, and if you play chess, you would see that this war was probably designed in order for the shifting of the dominant currency to go to somewhere else, probably the yuan, which is 25 cents. Imagine now everybody is, because gradually it's going to happen, have to buy oil, and when you give $1, you only get 25 cents worth of it. I think that's going to be a time to really, really, really sit back. And your neighbors are going to say, well, look, you're looking like you're making something, and I'm not. Look, learn to trade. Oil is now selling. The yuan, buy some of that. And here we go again. Thanks for taking my call.
Don't leave yet. We've got some people asking. They hear you all the time. They want to know more about trading, and we might want to have you on as well. Can you give your name and number to our producer, please?
Sure, man.
And then we'll get in contact with you.
No problem.
Producer, if you can get his name and number. Thank you very much. 323-6232-325-4316, 325-4259. Tweet us. Facebook us. Text us. 422-4796. All right. These text messages here. Someone says, I forgot to point it out to you, Dwight, but Monday, your international news segment reported, I think they're talking about AP, reported that reported word for word, gas prices in the U.S. are finally going down. Yeah, when they said that, they meant like pennies. That was going down by, right? There are fluctuations, so it'll go down a little bit. That's not what you're thinking, not yet. And already some states are reporting it's going back up.
The prices across states are a lot.
The average now is like 5 something. I mean, can you imagine?
It's like
In
$8 and $7 in some places.
Yeah, I've seen that, right? California, some of those states gets crazy, especially for premium. Another one here, the DPM is talking madness and is out of touch. I don't see any saving in my daily expenses. And remember, light bills and jitney prices are expected to increase. Seems like this dark day crew is lost in the sauce.
A lot of us got to be APA a lot more.
Got to be what?
APA. By foot.
Wow. Okay. This person says here, we should walk or ride donkeys.
Oh.
Not because of the high gas prices,
A
but
burro.
simply because we can't drive.
Hey, if I had a donkey, I'd totally ride it to work.
Would you really?
Yes.
Okay. If we drop the gas tax, how will we be able to afford $14,000 rugs and $9,000 mirrors? How, Dwight? How? Well, I guess as was suggested last week, they got some affordable ones at some of the stores right here.
Yeah.
They probably don't glow in the dark and can't talk to you, but they can reflect your image. Quite fine. And we're not saying forever, just for a little bit, and then
A little bit could probably cause a lot of damage when it comes to government.
well, maybe we should sell the rug and the mirror. And anyway, this person says here, there is nothing we can do because our leaders insist on creating fragile systems. Think about this: as bad as things are, we continue with the consumption tax system that favors the wealthy. Which would you rather, lower fuel or fixing the pothole? Well, they're not fixing the potholes. Not before they break up your axle or destroy your tires. They're there for a long time. I'd like both. But anyway, but they're not fixing the potholes. Not as soon as they should. Like every day. In fact, what's going on with Tawny Williams Darling Highway? Is somebody drilling holes there? Because every single day there's a new one.
It's all this rain.
And then there's one on Prince Charles, folks. Somebody put a giant rock in there, and then someone took it out.
Has that made? Oh,
Well,
someone took it out, or
I don't know if the rock would help. Because I'm like,
did the rock get lower?
The rock looked pretty sharp. I'm like, I think if you hit that rock, it may be worse. But they were trying to help. But the rock has been removed, but the bottle remains. I'm like, wait, this has been here a month now.
I saw a video quickly. I didn't stop on it of Adrian White, MP for
St. Anne's,
spraying circles around potholes or something.
Oh yeah,
I guess to mark them.
Oh, where was this, on Eastern Road? Because Eastern Road is terrible.
I think it was probably
Eastern Road. It's like they're having a pothole convention out there. But okay. So yeah, if you're not going to fix the potholes, then yeah, lower the fuel price. Then get that tax off for a little bit.
Historically speaking, I feel like we always need to balance the conversation by thinking about where we should have been compared to where we are now. And we should have had a bus system that would allow for people to leave their cars at home.
Yeah.
And they have a sensible, comfortable ride to work or wherever they may be going.
Absolutely.
But we don't.
No. And we're not getting any closer to that.
No. Because that whole unified bus thing that they probably spent a bunch of money on is now kaput.
But they don't even talk about that anymore.
Well, it's kaput.
After how many different pilot programs do we have for that? Since we've been on the air, 10 years, it's definitely been 2. I want to say almost 3, but definitely 2.
Yeah.
But here we
is
are.
Is kaput a Yiddish word? I mean, I'm like switching between Spanish and Jewish here.
All the languages of the world. Mr. United Nations over here. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Hey, good morning, Dwight.
Hi.
And good morning, Chester.
Morning.
And good morning to those who wake up in the line of the living. I hope you had something hard on your chest. Dwight, you had so many pilot programs about that situation. I wonder if that pilot took off with that plane yet.
Yeah.
But, needless to say, people this morning, take a tip. Gas is going up. So what does that mean to people who got to think sometimes, like those persons who wants to sit down and watch people put gas in their car? I say that to say this. Be very vigilant of where you park your cars. And the reason I say that to you, Mr. Strachan, is that I met someone to the gas station day before yesterday. And the lady said she drives an Explorer. She said that when she parked it by her work, she put $60 gas in the car, in a Jeep. And when she came back, someone swift the gas out of her Jeep. So people, take that serious, because as gas go up, things go up. People don't have gas in their cars, so those mischievous people who don't want to go out there and work for $1 like me or anybody else or you, please protect your car now. You got to protect your place. Now you got to protect your car. And it's sad to say it this morning, Mr. Straw, but I wouldn't be surprised if you ride around Nassau in the months or the weeks to come, God's willing, if it don't change, that you don't see cars break down on the side of the road. And you thinking now that break down because of a mechanical problem, but deep down inside, it's run out of gas. But I can say this, for those who ride up and down Nassau, ain't got nothing else to do, buddy, I think this could come to stop with some of y'all.
Oh, I think that stopped years ago.
Mr.
Yeah, I think that stopped a long time ago. But yeah, I hear you. That's
speaking of vigilance. If anybody's listening to the sound of our voices, I want to alert everyone to pay attention to cars following you. Please pay it, because I know someone who was robbed on Sunday across the street from Sandyport, and I can almost guarantee you they were being followed.
Wow.
Because that's a strange place to linger to wait for a victim to pull up. And yesterday, I saw some tourists on a bike who ended up in a dead end, and there was a car following behind them.
Yeah.
They had to hang a Yui. The car hung a Yui, which made no sense because clearly they weren't together. That car was following them.
That is very scary.
It is.
Yeah.
And I tell people all the time my family and loved ones, pay attention. People will follow you.
Yeah.
And when you stop or pull over or whatnot, they're going to jump out and try to harm you or rob you or something.
So the person at Sandy Port robbed at gunpoint?
They took, gunpoint. They took her car.
Oh. Wow. Okay. That's terrifying. Yeah, you got to be paying attention, folks. Got to be paying attention. Wow. More of your text messages. The person says here, Dwight, who does this government work for? It seems to me that they are working for themselves. We put them there so they need to help us in our time of need. Mm-hmm. This one says here, Dwight, we need to all carpool in electric cars. Well, hey, that would be wonderful, but there aren't enough currently for that to happen. And we don't have any electric buses as yet.
And we don't have Uber-type systems because that's been shot down lots of times.
Yeah.
We could have had that, but nobody's letting us have nice things.
And then we'll get to BPL in a moment, speaking of electric. Right? This person says, Dwight, I stand with you. While relaxing fuel tax collection can create a hole in revenue collection, the government can be creative and plug that. Oh, is that what you meant to say there? Look at this wonderful text, and then you come with that. Plug that.
Okay.
What?
Right.
Okay.
Yes.
Plug that hole in various ways that they didn't say hole. All right. Reduce travel expense by 30%. Increase tax on high-end property purchases by 5%. Increase tax on luxury goods. Increase tax on private vessels entering the country. Just a few, but there are many more options to consider. Hashtag Dwight's gas tax holiday. Oh, you put my name on this. Oh, Lord. Get me. Get public enemy number one again for the government. Well, hey, I'm just saying temporarily. Something.
Whatever happened to our fat tax? That ain't coming through.
That was from.
Was it sugary?
That
something
was so
tax?
long ago. You're truly looking to get voted out when you do something.
Boy,
that was what? That we were. Anyway, they'd sooner put on a reduce the gas tax than to do that one there. But anyway, okay. Back in the days, police, defense force, and hotels used to bus employees to work. I live Fox Hill Road South and work at a quasi-government company. My gas gauge visibly moves to and from work. How about companies busing us to work?
Don't some hotels still bus their employees to work?
I think so. I mean, I haven't seen that defense force. I used to see them. I don't know what's changed. You see them waiting for the bus to pick them up. I think so many people can work remotely now. That would help a lot if people are actually working.
There's another crisis that needs remote work.
What now?
This gas problem.
Yeah. The only problem will be, again, BPL. BPL cooperating. And it certainly hasn't been doing over the past few days. This one says here, we'll get to in a second caller. This person says, for the last 30 years, you guys in this country were trying to solve these problems by our lazy leaders. Nothing has happened. No proper roads or bus system or hospitals or jobs, etc. Well, so why do you think anything will change? Or think that things that happen in this country, these elite leaders continue to fleece the country? All right, so Texter, what are you suggesting? What do we do? Just give up? Just play rap music? What do you think? Or country, rock, whatever. I'm not picking on rap, but what do you want?
Country. We need
country music. Yeah. Oh, okay. What do you want? What do you think? Just don't complain. Don't give suggestions. Don't say that what we want. Don't give them ideas. No. Okay. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, Dwight and Chester. How you doing?
Doing well. Good morning.
I just was talking with this bus system. If I were the government, I would give the bus drivers a period of time, 1 year, to get their act together, and then I would put in a bus system. Start off with a small bus system, and eventually you give the bus drivers, you want to join the system, you can join. But I think that the government needs to do something about that because, like we said, you can jump on a bus from Prince Charles, anywhere in Prince Charles, and be to your office, if it's an organized system, be to your office in about 20 minutes. But you can't let the bus drivers keep you hostage. So my opinion would be give them 1 year to get their act together, and if they can't, then I would slowly implement new buses on the road owned by the government. If people want to buy shares into it, let the people buy shares into it, sell shares. That's another way for you to earn some extra money.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much.
Is that a big lobby or something?
The bus system.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think the time has passed. We need to start thinking bigger than that. I think we need now some sort of rail system, something more modern, something.
Rail system ain't modern.
No, I mean, well, not the old type juju. Something.
That's what we can start with. That's all we can afford.
Oh yeah. Something more modern.
Well, they considered a park and ride trolley system for downtown.
Maybe
only God knows where that idea is.
Yeah.
Because and I don't know what they're doing with the properties up there on is it East Hill Street? Because the post office has been gone how long now?
It's been a couple of years.
Has it? Like maybe a year and a half, too?
Approaching that, yeah. Yeah.
It just takes so long
in
this country to do stuff.
Buses are so 1940 something. I don't know. But
they mentioned that RBDF gym that was in the news, right? And they said it took 5 years. That took 5 years to create this gym and whatever else. And I was like, 5 years?
Wow.
I was like, why?
Wow.
Why does it take so long?
It's crazy. That's crazy. Let's take this call. Good morning, caller. You're on the air. Are you there? Good morning.
Oh, good morning.
Hi.
Hey, Dwight and Chester.
Morning.
Yeah. Dwight, we have started school management system in our country, like I've been telling you for a little while, right? You can hear me?
Yeah, we can.
Yeah, right. And like you and Chester saying, right? We need to see we need leaders to come with visionary situations that could benefit generations that are not unborn yet, that ain't born yet, right? Because we live in the same way, in the same way we live in worse than our grandparents was living when it comes to moving sometimes on this island or even living on this island. That's simply because, in my view, right, we have the same. We have what we call governance, but it really isn't, right? And until we could get real governance in this country, the Bahamas ain't growing, man. It's the time we have electrical buses and electrical taxis in this country, man. You guys have a nice day.
Yep. All right. Thank you very much. This person says here, carpool and catch COVID or monkeypox? I don't think so. Okay, caller, texter.
Always a cynic somewhere.
I don't understand. That's out of nowhere. But you're going to work. You're going to be around the people. Okay, same. We Bahamians need 2 doses and a boost shot of reality. Our salaries are too high for what we produce. We need to develop skills and pride in our work and country. We must quickly eliminate political patronage and award jobs and contracts based on merit. Social promotion in school and in the workplace must stop. Reward should only come through hard work and achievement. Yes, indeed. I'm not sure how this relates to the gas crunch issue, but yes, that is true. Absolutely support that. Someone says, have you all not heard the U.S. government just forfeited some of their tax profits in order to decrease the rising price of retail gas? It was on the news. Our government must do something. First of all, that's what we're talking about. Okay, we just said that.
Our government.
But they're trying to get to an agreement to do this for at least 3 months. And it has been suggested here for a while, for quite a few months, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen.
Why are they saying our government must do something? The government has said, let it ride.
Well, they've said they've done something.
Let it
They
ride.
reduced the price of food.
Right. But not specifically touch anything to do with gas.
Right. All right, so we conserve in the meantime, folks. Try to do everything in one loop.
That's right.
And, question if you really need to go back out. Like, can that wait? I'll do that tomorrow with my other loop. The day
Or
of-
holler at your friends with an electric car. Offer them a couple dollars. No?
What? Offer who? The electric car people must offer their friends some money?
No!
What do you
People
saying?
who are conserving gas by getting a ride with their electric car friends.
Oh, your
should offer
friends are
them
going to
money.
charge you to ride in their electric car?
No pun intended, of course.
Boy. See, you're making me laugh, but you were making me angry just now when you said that you were going to charge me to ride in your electric car.
Well, you're saving gas.
But as a friend, you shouldn't charge me.
Okay, first ride's free.
Wow. We need to get more people to have electric cars, or better people who will be better to their friends.
Everybody's charging for baggage these days, all right? Have you flown lately?
Well, are you calling your friends baggage now? Oh my, Chester, this is terrible. this is getting worse.
Let me stop.
Let's move on. Okay. So BPL, you're right. We're talking about the other alternative is electric stuff, and but you need electricity for electric stuff, and BPL has certainly been challenged in that regard, and now questions about the price of what we pay for electricity in the country as we want to know where things stand with the fuel hedging program. F&M leader Michael Pintard asking about this as well. He's calling on Works and Utilities Minister Alfred Sears to provide an update on BPL's hedge program and indicate whether the power company will increase its fuel charge. While noting that the opposition is deeply concerned, Pintard pointed to BPL CEO Siobhan Cambridge and his assertion in the Tribune that an internal review is underway to determine whether there will be a fuel charge rate increase. He said the situation could have been avoided. Pintard said, quote, the F&M left in place the first ever fuel hedging arrangement for BPL that has led to an unprecedented level of price stability and lowered fuel surcharge rates to the benefit of Bahamian households and businesses recovering from the economic ravages of COVID-19. This Davis administration was made aware that BPL management and board from last year, October, regarding the need to extend the fuel hedge to lock in as low as possible a price for fuel in an environment where fuel prices had started to increase rapidly. The administration twiddled their thumbs and did nothing at the time. Pintard says the government remains indecisive about BPL. He accused it of being too busy in receptions and events that do not move the economic development agenda forward in an appreciable way. He said, quote, while the matter has been raised several times now by the opposition, including the current budget and the current budget debate, the government has done nothing, and this will now inevitably mean a significant increase in the electricity surcharge at a time when Bahamian households and businesses could least afford it. We again call on this government to moderate their incessant traveling, photo ops, and public relations stunts, and to take their responsibility for governance seriously. We demand that the minister responsible for BPL update the public on what happened with the fuel hedging program and what the failure of the government to extend the program will mean for increased BPL surcharges going forward. Pintard also called on the government to reveal how much is being spent on rental generators. He said it appears to be an absence of strategic planning to attract the capital needed to address legacy debt, recurrent expenditure, and capital works at the power company, which is the main source of electricity for New Providence and the Family Islands. Now, Sears had indicated that he was off island yesterday and did not respond to requests for comment from BPL on BPL. On March 1st, Prime Minister Davis promised that his administration will do all it can to prevent an increase in the cost of electricity, arguing that Bahamians cannot afford to be burdened with more taxes. His pledge coming after BPL issued a statement on February 28th stating that the cost of the fuel charge would increase on March 1st. BPL recalled that statement the same day. The following month, Sears said an increase in consumers' electricity bills is possible, but he said the government, as a matter of public policy, intends to maintain the hedge strategy. Okay, let's talk about it. we saw that headline yesterday, the story yesterday in the Tribune. They're looking at this, an internal review, BPL, on their prices and this issue coming at the worst possible time. But this is not the first warning or second that something like this could happen.
Right.
And people have been warned to brace themselves for even that going up.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems like this didn't have to happen at all. What do we do?
I think we need some answers on the fuel hedging situation. I probably don't want to say what I.
No.
Thinking,
you should do
but,
it. You should do it. You should.
No. I really don't know what the situation is with that, and obviously we've asked the questions several times. So we do need to speak to the minister responsible for works and utilities.
We need to know.
We do need to know.
Yeah. All right. Let's take some calls on this really quickly, folks. 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259. Tweet us, Facebook us, text us, 422-4796. On the Guardian Radio text line. Let's hear what you have to say about that. This texter says, it's interesting that the fuel hedge was just let go without explanation. He wasn't really let go. Is that fair to say? Or
yeah. I would say that's pretty fair.
Okay. The texter goes on to say, what I now find interesting is who we are renting the fuel generation from. If this is so, the optics aren't good. But what can we do except frown and bear it?
Well, I mean, I understand what that text is saying because we only heard about a new entity providing supplementary power to BPL during the speech in the House of Assembly by the Minister of Public Works and Utilities. One would think that you hear about these things, RFPs and other things like that, possibly something going out to tender. The first time we heard about the company that's providing the supplementary power was in the speech, and they're like, it's happening. That seems strange to me. I don't know if it seems strange to anybody else. Is that standard operating procedure here?
Well, brace yourself, folks. Brace yourself. This is going to be a hot summer, a long summer.
Well, if the new company powers up, maybe not.
Okay. How long you said they took to build that gym?
No, but see, that's not private. That wasn't private. That was public.
Yeah.
The private guys work a little faster.
Okay, but they're still working along with these folks, right?
But so they'll work. The other folks will work half, a little quicker.
Okay. Yeah. All right. We will see. All right. So that's happening, and we won't get time to talk about it, but the Deputy Prime Minister Chester Cooper saying that they're going to keep tests for unvaccinated individuals in place for now. We've got to protect the healthcare system and the people in the country and the workers and everybody. So he's saying that will stay for now. There have been calls, so people saying that it was unfair and discriminatory. But, all right.
I don't know.
Now, all right, so let's take a break. When we come back, we are going to switch gears. We're going to be talking about community legal aid clinic, a free community legal aid clinic that's coming up, and a lot more on this Wednesday morning. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9.
As I look in your eyes, I hold on to your body and feel it's you make. Your voice embrace is warm and tender, a love that I could not forsake, 'cause I'm your lady.
This is Guardian Radio, 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
This is AP News. I'm Rita Foley. An earthquake in Afghanistan has killed at least 1,000 people and injured many more.
Cell phone video provided by Afghanistan State News Agency shows victims hurt in a magnitude 6.1 earthquake early Wednesday, being treated outside of a clinic in a remote village near the border with Pakistan. The narrator describes a rush of injuries and asks for emergency measures to be taken. The earthquake could be felt at least 300 miles away in Pakistan and India. I'm Jennifer King.
Tens of thousands of people are on the run in southern China after massive flooding there and more rain's expected. Here in the U.S., those eye-popping gas prices are starting to come down a little bit. It's $4.95 a gallon this morning, 6 cents cheaper than a week ago, says the AAA. Now, President Biden will ask Congress to suspend federal gasoline and diesel taxes for 3 months. That could save you 18 cents a gallon on gas. How to stop those mass shootings. Senate bargainers reached agreement on a bipartisan gun violence bill, and Congress could take it up within days. The AP's Mike Gracia.
The package is a response to mass shootings at a Buffalo, New York supermarket last month and at Robb Elementary School in Uvalde, Texas, days later. Senator John Cornyn of Texas led Republicans in the legislative talks.
Texans are disgusted and outraged by what happened at Robb Elementary, and they want Congress to take appropriate action.
The legislation would include more rigorous background checks for the youngest firearms buyers, more background checks for arms sellers, and stiffer penalties on gun traffickers. Additionally, there's funding to states and communities for improving school safety and mental health initiatives.
Pope Francis is blasting the violence in Mexico. 2 priests were shot dead Monday in a church there. This is AP News. Charitable giving is shattering records in the U.S., but inflation's having an effect on that, too. The AP's Mike Hempen.
A report from Giving USA says donations last year were $485 billion, an all-time high, and a 4% increase from the record $466 billion contributed in 2020. But donations were down 0.7% when adjusted for inflation. Giving to arts and culture groups jumped nearly 28%, while giving to education declined nearly 3%. But overall, giving grew or stayed flat in 8 of 9 major philanthropic sectors. I'm Mike Hempen.
The typical price of a home in the U.S. is now $407,600. That's a record. The median home price jumped almost 15% in May from a year earlier. Home sales, though, are slowing. I'm Rita Foley, AP News.
Time for your first look at traffic for this morning, brought to you by RBC. For all of life's moments, there's one Visa Classic credit card. In your real-time traffic this morning, we are seeing the heavy traffic on Milo Butler Highway from Fire Trail all the way up to Tonic Williams Darling Highway. That's in the northbound lanes there. Some better alternate routes for you. Gladstone Road looking much better. Just north of Munnings Road, you'll see that traffic, heavy traffic, on the way to JFK Drive. And Blue Hill Road, building traffic near Carmichael, the junction with Carmichael, and just north of Soldier Road on the way over the hill to Independence Drive. You'll see that traffic in front of you there. Some building traffic at the East Street and Independence Drive, East-West Highway roundabout, and East Street and Robinson Road. And elsewhere, not looking so bad for you so far. That's your first look at traffic this morning, brought to you by RBC Royal Bank. Experience cashless purchasing power and chip and PIN security with your RBC Visa Classic credit card. Manage your day-to-day expenses and apply today at rbc.com/Visa Classic. And it's time for another check of your weather for today, brought to you by BTC. We've got high pressure building across the area, generating fresh to moderate breezes. There remains a risk of waterspout tornado activity and a moderate risk of rip currents on north and east coast beaches in the northwest and central Bahamas. For today, for all areas, your forecast calls for variably cloudy, warm, and breezy conditions with a few scattered showers and isolated thunderstorms. Through tonight, small craft caution in effect for the northwest and central islands. This morning, expect gusty winds and higher seas in or near heavy showers and thunderstorms. Temperatures today getting up to around 90 Fahrenheit, 32 Celsius. Overnight lows tonight getting down to 78 Fahrenheit, 26 Celsius. In your extended outlook, high pressure remains across the area while a layer of Saharan dust expected to linger across the southeastern islands by Thursday. So for tomorrow, Thursday, look for mostly sunny and hot conditions with a chance of passing isolated showers or thunderstorms, becoming fair and warm at night, hazy in the southeast Bahamas. Friday, mostly sunny and hot with a chance of passing isolated showers or thunderstorms, becoming fair and warm at night. In the tropics are quiet. Tropical cyclone formation not expected over the next 5 days. That's your morning blend weather check brought to you by BTC. All BTC prepaid plans include full unlimited WhatsApp. You get to enjoy unlimited WhatsApp chat, unlimited WhatsApp video calls, unlimited WhatsApp calls, unlimited WhatsApp sharing. Visit any BTC or WhatsApp, any BTC location or WhatsApp or email them at their virtual stores to activate today.
Are you an attorney with a joint practice operating from one location? Accepting payments from clients doesn't have to be complicated.
Introducing RBC MultiPay. Now each attorney can securely accept and settle payments with one point-of-sale device supporting multiple bank accounts.
With competitive pricing, training, and easy setup, you will be up and running in no time.
Call 356-8500 to sign up for
RBC
MultiPay.
You're always on the go. We know life can be a daily rush. CIBC, First Caribbean, you can count on us. We make life easier. Manage your accounts at any time. Apply for a loan. It's easy when you bank online. We make life easier with choices that suit you. CIBC, First Caribbean.
You know, you should teach a savings class, because you know everything.
No, I just choose wisely. Like, I just got 2 months free home internet from BTC. All I did was sign up for internet.
2 months internet free? For real?
I bundled my internet and mobile services, and now I'm paying half of what the other guys charge. Plus, as a new customer, I get 2 months internet free.
What? Nah, that's a big deal.
Switch to BTC Internet and get the second and third months free for new customers. Conditions apply.
Fly away to your favorite island to experience the magic of the 2022 Goombay Summer Festival, starting July 1st through August 27th across the islands of the Bahamas. It's set to be the biggest one yet, with mouth-watering culinary delights, Goombay music, rake and scrape bands, bohemian performances, and much more. It's Goombay Summer Festival 2022, brought to you by the Ministry of Tourism, Investments, and Aviation.
At Western Union, we have different sending options for you to use the one that fits you best. You can send money directly to bank accounts around the world, or for cash pickup by visiting our agent locations. Or you can also start your money transfer in our app and then pay cash in store. Look for an agent location near you, or download our app and send money to your loved ones abroad.
Create memories and experience moments with the love of your life that will last a lifetime right in our backyard. Escape the hustle and bustle of Nassau with your special someone for an intimate islands getaway. You can get lost in the magic of an island sunrise or count the stars in the night sky. In the Family Islands, disconnect from the world and reconnect with the one that means the most. Now is the perfect time with our 2 fly-free Bahamas Residence special. Go to bahamasresidence.com for more info.
Fidelity, we're good for you.
We know
how important collecting your money can be to the success of your business? Start your relationship with Fidelity today so that we can show you the many options available to you with our merchant services. From click and pay options online to merchant terminals and e-commerce options. We're here to help your business succeed. For more details, speak to one of our business development officers at 356-7764 in Nassau or 352-6676 in Freeport. Visit our website at fidelitygroup.com or visit any of our branches.
Breakfast just got better at Wendy's. Introducing the Breakfast Biggie Bag. Enjoy a double sausage muffin with 2 square sausage patties, a freshly cracked egg, and cheese served on a toasted English muffin, a medium waffle fries, and an orange juice for only $5.25, VAT inclusive. And an apple pie for just $1 more.
Say what?
At Wendy's, better breakfast is all day. Offers valid in participating locations. Wendy's, different inside and out.
Whether you're battling a chronic condition or offsetting a new injury, Doctors Hospital's comprehensive rehab services offer the help you need now. 3 advanced facilities at Collins Avenue, Carmichael Road, and Cable Beach means your personalized plan for care is just a visit away. From physiotherapy to occupational therapy and speech and language pathology, our team approach is all about rebuilding together. For a full list of services, visit doctorshosp.com/rehabilitation. Doctors Hospital, trusted and best care now. Isn't your health worth it?
Screws and Fasteners World, Balfour Avenue and Palm Beach Street, has those hard-to-find fasteners for you right now. You can find stainless steel regular hex, carriage bolts, galvanized bolts, threaded rods, nails, self-tap screws, sex bolts, anchor bolts, turnbuckles, masonry tools, hand tools, and weed whacker strings. Check out the rope selection and car body fasteners, too. Special orders are welcome. It's your #1 fastener store. Screws and Fasteners World, Balfour Avenue and Palm Beach Streets. Call 326-1976.
You're always on the go. We know life can be a daily rush. CIBC, First Caribbean, you can count on us. We make life easier. Manage your accounts at any time. Apply for a loan. It's easy when you bank online. We make life easier with choices that suit you. CIBC, First Caribbean.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day. This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
Welcome back to Morning Blend here on Guardian Radio 96.9. We're streaming live on GuardianTalkRadio.com and on the Guardian Radio app for smart devices. We're also on your televisions on Cable Bahamas Channel 969 and BTC Flow Channel 612. You can tweet us at Morning Blend 969 or Facebook, facebook.com/Morning Blend 969. text us on the Guardian Radio text line, powered by BTC, 422-4796. And now at 8:23, time for another check of your weather for today, brought to you by Bahamas First Insurance. We've got high pressure building across the area, generating fresh to moderate breezes. And we're expecting, well, there still remains a risk of waterspout or tornado activity, and a moderate risk of rip currents along north and east coast beaches in the northwest and central Bahamas. For all areas today, look for variably cloudy, warm, and breezy conditions with a few scattered showers, isolated thunderstorms as well through tonight. Small craft caution in effect for the northwest and central Bahamas this morning. Expect gusty winds and higher seas in or near heavy showers with thunderstorms. Temperature-wise, look for highs getting to around 90 Fahrenheit, 32 Celsius. Overnight lows tonight getting down to about 78 Fahrenheit, 26 Celsius. In your extended outlook, high pressure remains across the area, and we're likely to see a layer of Saharan dust expected to linger across the southeastern islands by tomorrow. For tomorrow, Thursday, look for mostly sunny and hot conditions with a chance of a few passing isolated showers with thunderstorms becoming fair and warm at night, hazy in the southeast Bahamas. Friday, mostly sunny and hot with a chance of passing isolated showers with thunderstorms becoming fair and warm at night. The tropics are quiet. Tropical cyclone formation not expected through the next 5 days. That's your morning blend weather check, brought to you by Bahamas First Insurance, still the first and only local insurance company and agency network that lets you buy car and home insurance 100% online. Try it at bahamasfirst.com. And at 8:25, time for another check of your traffic for this morning, brought to you by RBC. For all of life's moments, there's one Visa Classic credit card. In your real-time traffic this morning, Mile Butler Highway, heavy traffic from well south of Fire Trail all the way up to Tonic-Williams-Darling Highway. That's in the northbound lanes there this morning. Blue Hill Road also looking busy for you, north of Soldier Road especially, in the northbound lanes, heading to the roundabout with Independence Drive, and near Carmichael as well, mainly northbound, near that junction. Elsewhere, Gladstone Road not looking too bad. Just north of Munnings Road, you will see that heavy traffic on the way to JFK Drive. And we've got pockets along East Street, especially between the roundabout with East-West Highway and Independence Drive and Soldier Road, and at the East Street and Robinson Road intersection. Pockets along Prince Charles Drive as well, near Beatrice Avenue especially. Those are your hot spots. That's your real-time traffic and your morning blend traffic alert, brought to you by RBC. Experience cashless purchasing power and chip and pin security with your RBC Visa Classic credit card. Manage your day-to-day expenses and apply today at rbc.com/Caribbean/Visa Classic.
Breaking rocks in a hot sun. I fought the law and the law won. I fought the law and the law won. I needed money 'cause I had none. I fought the law and the law won. I fought the law and the law won. I left my baby and it feels so bad. I guess my race is run. She's the best girl that I ever had. I fought the law.
We're back here with Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan along with Chester Robards on this Wednesday morning. And as promised, we are getting a preview of an upcoming community legal aid clinic And here to tell us all about this, very pleased to welcome to the show from the Eugene DePuch Law School Legal Aid Clinic, the director, Nicole Sutherland King, and we have Kevin Farrington as well. And the president of the Bahamas Bar Association, Khalil Parker, QC, is with us this morning. Great to have you all with us. Welcome. Welcome back to those who've been here before. Great to have you on this Wednesday morning.
Good morning, Dwight. Good morning, Chester. Good morning, Bahamas.
Good morning. All right, so we have a lot to talk to you about, but let's get the basics about the Legal Aid Clinic and what we can expect. And we'll come back to that, but just give us an overview of what we can expect, and then we'll talk about legal aid in general in the country, and we'll go from there.
All right, so I think it's helpful to start about our program. And so this Legal Aid Clinic is a product of the Community Legal Aid Program, which is a brand new collaboration between the Eugene DePuch Law School Legal Aid Clinic, the Office of the Attorney General, the Bahamas Bar Association, and the Caribbean Agency for Justice Solutions, which is a legal technology provider out of Trinidad. They're a regional entity.
How new? How long has it been going on?
Well, this is brand new. Wow. Actually, we just launched.
Okay.
Interestingly enough, did you know that June is Legal Aid Month in the Bahamas?
Did not
and so
know
we
that.
thought this was a wonderful time for us to launch this initiative, the goal of which really is to make civil legal aid more readily available throughout the length and breadth of the Commonwealth. So this Legal Aid Clinic is the first of a series of mobile legal aid clinics, or legal aid fairs as we call them, that we're going to be taking into various communities throughout New Providence first during our pilot, and then we plan to take it throughout the various islands in the Bahamas.
Okay. All right, wonderful. So we'll get the details about when, where in a bit. But let's talk about legal aid in the Bahamas. We've had fits and starts, it seems, but what has been the history and how desperately needed is it? And everybody can jump in there.
Well, yes. Legal aid in the Bahamas is desperately needed. Certainly, the Eugene DePuch Law School, which has been operating in the country for more than 20 years, does have a legal aid clinic, which is a part of our training program for our attorneys. And in the clinical space, we do provide some civil legal aid for members of the public. But in terms of sustained civil legal aid, we are pretty much it. Lots of firms come in, they do projects. The Bar Association will have events every now and again that provide services, but in terms of something that's ongoing, there really isn't much. Certainly, there is some availability for legal aid if you are faced with a criminal matter in the Supreme Court, and that comes to you through the program of the Crown Brief, or now with the introduction of the Office of the Public Defender. But if you are faced with a civil matter, and you will appreciate that for many Bahamians, that is where their intersection with the justice system is going to arise. It's not necessarily going to be on the criminal side. So if you're facing a civil matter, we're talking about things like a landlord and tenant matter perhaps, or you're having an issue with your bank, or perhaps it's a family matter. You're thinking about a divorce, there's a will, someone has died, there's a probate. Really, there is very little that is readily available on a consistent basis to assist you. And so because we are in that space, we recognize that the need is very, very great. It's often been said, or people feel that the legal profession is a fairly selfish profession and just interested in making money. Absolutely not. I'm sure that the president is going to
ask
speak.
you, though.
The president is going to speak to that. But I think one of the issues has really been the lack of availability of a space for persons who want to come forward and provide their services. And there are many persons in the fraternity who want to do that. And so we saw the need for that, and we decided that we would create this opportunity and this space for those of us who want to give back to do that on a sustained basis.
All right, because I was going to ask you, is that the reason why we haven't seen it on a consistent basis? Because of the love of money, or what? But okay, so I guess
no. I think that one of the things that this partnership highlights is the need for the collaboration between the bar and this law school and the government. Because to have a sustained legal aid space, you need state support. We have consistent legal aid clinics. We have members who provide legal aid services. But what you would like to do is you would like to structure a system where people know where they can go. Obviously, legal aid clinics will continue outside of the context of the CLAP program. But it's important that people understand that when you have these situations in life, that there is an institutionalized service provider for those who can't afford legal services at face value. One of the things I would like to say to address the question of the alleged or purported selfish legal profession is that the reality is that a significant portion of legal services in the country is subsidized by legal professionals. Most people don't pay the sticker price for what these things would actually cost if you drill down to it. So I would like to
What?
Yes, it's true. It's true. The average person's not paying 100% of the quote-unquote billable hour of their attorney, particularly in litigation. So
the bills that we get are sale prices? That's what you're trying to tell us?
Yes, I'm saying that.
Okay.
So it is.
Oh my.
It is. It's important to note that it's not necessarily heralded, but that's not really the point of why we're here. We're here for those people who can't even afford those prices. And the reality is that while we have a somewhat built out, even though we do want some work on the Crown Brief system to make sure that our criminal practitioners can make a decent living, and to strengthen the Office of the Public Defender, those are works in progress with the government. But we are working now with the Office of the Attorney General and the law school to build out our offering as a country on the civil legal aid side. And as the economic vulnerabilities of people become highlighted through pandemics and otherwise, this is really a critical space. You know, you could have life-altering circumstances in a civil matter, and you don't have the recourse to the support that you need. Legal services are essential services. And so I believe that just like we were talking off air about the ability to go to PMH and get services at the point of need, we have to make sure that there's a place and that there are systems in place to make sure that people who need this assistance have a consistent and continued recourse to legal services. And as the bar, we are here to demonstrate, because it's us who provides the services. You know, it's not you could build out all you want, but if the lawyers aren't there, the clinic can't go forward. But we're here to demonstrate that the bar is supportive of this, and we will be there, and we will be populating this offering to demonstrate our commitment to our social obligations. It is, I would say, it is a fundamental duty of the attorney. It's part of our oath. It's part of our obligation to make sure that we are contributing outside of our commercial interests to the protection of our citizens and our guests and visitors to the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. And that is the presence. That's why I'm here as president, to demonstrate the commitment of the bar to the provision of legal aid and to the building out of civil legal aid, and the mobile element and the technology element means that we could reach people in the far-flung areas, and that's been something that has really not gotten the attention it deserves. So when the law school reached out, it was a no-brainer. I've always been a supporter. The bar has always been a supporter of the legal aid clinic, and the Office of the Attorney General and their support has been important because it demonstrates that we will have the continued support to make this an enduring effort.
Yeah.
So there's more than just the three of you in this room that feel this way?
Yes.
Okay, all right, that's good to know.
All right, so let's talk more about that. How will you make this more of a permanent thing other than just a clinic here? And what is the next step to making this so there's a dedicated space all the time?
All right, so certainly persons who are interested in volunteering, our attorneys, are able to log on and register. And one of the issues that we have always had was we know that there are persons who want to volunteer, but getting them all into one space so that we can manage them and ensure that they are targeted. So we are maintaining a volunteer attorney database that we're going to be using to ensure that this service is ongoing. As I indicated, the law school is a training facility. And so we are training young attorneys on a consistent basis. So our students will be heavily involved with the administration and the setting up of these clinics. So we will be working directly with members of the bar on an ongoing basis. Ideally, we anticipate that this is something that we will be looking at doing on a monthly basis.
Oh, okay.
All right, so it's going to be something that's going to be fixed. It's going to be something that's going to be on the law school's calendar as something that's happening. So we're hoping that over time, persons will understand that on XYZ day, they can attend a legal aid clinic and get the assistance that they need. And I think one of the things that the president averted to was the fact that we are going to be leveraging technology to make sure that it is accessible and we're able to build out capacity in that way. The beautiful thing about the pandemic, if there was something good about it, was that it taught us that we are able to do business differently.
Yeah.
We're able to deliver services in a different way. So the courts have pivoted, and we realize that attorneys have pivoted, but now we want to make sure that members of the public are able to pivot along with us. So we're going to ensure that in addition to not just providing that face-to-face consultation, which is very important, to get in a room, based on where that client is, because the digital divide is a very real thing. But we're also going to make sure that we're able to provide these consultations virtually. So for persons, perhaps, who may be in Meguana or in Inagua and have a Supreme Court matter, and it may be very expensive for them to travel to New Providence. Wonderful, the court is now able to accommodate them, but they now need counsel. And in getting ready for attending court, they need to have those meetings with counsel. They need to sit and have those conversations, give those instructions. So this is going to be an opportunity for them to really appreciate that virtual legal services are just as good as the face-to-face services, and it's going to open up access to justice for persons in the far-flung islands. And I think that is one of the things that we need to keep our eye on as a country, ensuring that the services that we provide in New Providence are also equally available at the same level, the same caliber, same delivery of service for persons who are in the Family Islands.
And also to back that up, at our launch, the Attorney General and I presaged the fact that we are working on a amendment to the Legal Profession Act. We're going to be bringing in practicing certificates with requirements for continuing legal education and whatnot. And the provision of legal aid will be a way to discharge obligations in that regard. So,
like they do in the financial services sector.
So we're going to be introducing that. And
maybe you
rolling
need
that
a
up.
few hours in order to qualify to be a QC or something.
You need more than a few hours to qualify to be a QC, rest assured. But we're going to be building it into the regular lived experience of practitioners. I mean, we do it now, as I say, but we're going to be formalizing it to make sure that we stay up to date and make sure that we have the warm bodies to populate our various social engagements and obligations. So that is part of the institutionalization of legal aid and the provision of legal aid.
That is wonderful. All right, so I want to talk to you all, since we have bright minds here with us, just about some of the concerns you do have. You mentioned the pandemics, things that we've seen over the past 2 years that you as lawyers are concerned about, that you want to bring to the public attention, things that people need to be thinking about. Let's talk about some of those issues that you mentioned. We've been hearing a lot about that on landlord and tenant situations. It seems like these situations are getting worse. But other issues that you're concerned about. Kevin Franklin?
My focus is primarily on criminal law and domestic violence. I think because of the pandemic, we've seen a surge of matters involving domestic violence. And a lot of times persons, females, mothers, sisters, daughters, they just don't know what to do. And so what CLAP provides is it gives them that opportunity to provide them some direction. A lot of times they don't really need an attorney to appear before the court with them. They just need to know where to go, what to do, what to say, how to complete a form, simple things like that. And so then you may have to go to a QC and spend a whole lot of money for legal representation. CLAP will provide an opportunity for us to just give them that direction.
I just want to say for our listeners, you hear them saying, the word they're saying is CLAC, and that is
CLAP.
community.
CLAP.
What? CLAP?
CLAP.
Okay, that's what I think. And that stands for Community Legal
Aid Program.
Program. Okay, I thought we were saying CLAC with clinic, but CLAP, that's scarier. But okay, that's fine. What else? What else are you concerned about?
Well, we're addressing a lot of these concerns. One of the things that it's going to be important is the building out of the infrastructure to make accessing the mobile and the digital elements available to those persons in the islands, and so that is something that we're working on. And also the magistrates court element. We talk about the magistrates court, that's the front line. And I've been pushing, and we have been pushing, and I think that we've gotten some headway on the digitization and the virtual provision of court services at the magistrates court level, because that is a serious point of need when you talk about landlord-tenant binding, of all these other things that are the real contact points. And so those are areas where we say that we have to make sure that the deployment, we've done a very good job at the Court of Appeal, a very good job at the Supreme Court, but we still have a ways to go at the magistrates court level, and our efforts are really pointed to making sure that people can get access as easy as possible at that level. So I wanted to highlight that.
Right. And just to add to what the president said, in terms of our focus for these clinics, we are wanting to make sure that we're not just providing legal advice, but as Mr. Farrington also mentioned, we want to make sure that people are able to navigate the systems. So it's the very simple things like understanding where the courts are, understanding how to approach the clock of a Supreme Court justice, perhaps. For persons who are in the magistrate's court, yes, there are forms that are available, but if we're talking about trying to allow people to do things virtually, are those documents online? Are they fillable? Those sorts of things, that's some of the underlying work that we're undertaking, just to make sure that we increase ease of access. That is the key thing, to make sure that people understand where to go. If they have a simple question, a lot of persons are quite content to go to the magistrate's court and attempt to advocate for themselves, and we encourage that. But sometimes they just need a little bit of guidance. Sometimes they just have one or two questions, or that they want to ask. An example that I often use is this issue of landlord and tenant. These parties may have someone in their property, they know they want to get them out, they go to the magistrate's court, they get a date, and then they arrive and they find out, well, they haven't complied with all of the legal requirements, they haven't given the proper notice, and so the matter is thrown out. All of these sorts of things lend to the backlog in the legal system. So we're hoping that we can provide not just advice, but general legal information, so that the public is empowered, feels empowered to make use of the systems as such as they are.
Do you get the kind of response from the public when you have these clinics, like when these guys are giving away groceries? Is that?
It is overwhelming.
Is it?
It is overwhelming. And that's why we know that there is so much pent-up need, and that was one of the drivers for us, was seeing, we decided now is the time, because everybody, I think there's a certain facility with getting on to doing things virtually. And the virtual access is really what allows us to leverage our capacity. Because rather than having to find a space where we can put 50 attorneys, we can get 50 attorneys online. We can do that.
Right.
And it's so much easier in terms of, certainly attorneys are busy in their offices, those who still practice at the private bar, and they're making that money, right? And so they may have an hour and a half here or there that they can give you. But to ask for them to leave their chambers and come and sit, it's a lot greater. So by using this virtual space, we have reduced the ask. So that helps us with getting bodies who are able to provide the service that's needed, and it also allows us to bring more members of the public. Certainly for a lot of our constituents, again, when we talk about legal aid, there are lots of things that are going on in the background that we don't think about, all right? That there are costs to legal services. So if I'm on my job and I need to get time off to go and see my attorney, and I need to get that from my employer, and then I need to make my way to wherever my attorney's office is, the cost of that, I heard us talking about the cost of gas, right? All of these costs are built in. So for persons who may be living on the bubble and don't have that sort of money to just be spending, this free access that they can sit, on their phone, just 40 minutes on their lunch hour and get some advice. It's really good. We're hoping that it will be a game changer.
Wow. All right. We've got a few text messages and some calls. Let's take this call. Good morning, call. You're on the air.
Mr. Dwight Strachan, how are you, sir?
Doing well.
Beautiful, Mr. Cooper, and your guests. I have been wanting to speak with the president of the Bahamas Bar Association forever. Mr. Khalil Parker, how are you, sir?
Fine, thank you.
Beautiful. I am a very concerned citizen, and I would have sent some messages to yourself, left messages at the office. I need to know, sir, as a very concerned citizen, I need to know, are you familiar with Justice John Lyons' ruling, sir, as it relates to the courts of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas judiciary, not being independent, nor impartial, nor constitutional, sir, because the government of the Bahamas broke the law twice, in 2006, in 2009, as it relates to the remuneration of judges' salaries, which means, and he also ruled that there can therefore be no new appointment of judges and no extension of the tenure of judges, of the judges. Yet, sir, we have our courts, 19 years, have been operating unconstitutionally, illegally. Please tell me, sir, are you familiar, and explain to the public what is happening, because it was appealed by the former Attorney General, Mrs. Allison Maynard Gibson. However, she was chastised by the former president of the Court of Appeal, Sawyer, Mrs. Joan Sawyer, and she dismissed the matter. Could you please tell me
let's get him to respond to that.
Yes, well,
thank you very
yes,
much.
Thank you, thank you. While I don't recognize the conclusions you've reached, Justice Lyons was an eminent jurist who made many rulings. I would say that to the issue of the independence of the judiciary, I am on record over and repeatedly speaking about my fervent belief that more needs to be done to secure the independence of the judiciary from the strictures of reliance upon the executive. And I'm pleased to be able to say to the caller, such as it may assuage some of her concerns insofar as I understood them, that the government has tabled the court services bill, which would give the Supreme Court greater financial autonomy and human resources management and independence in its day-to-day operations, which will go a long way to making the constitutional promise of a separation of powers real. And I believe that once we embark upon that legislative endeavor and that new manner of operating, it will speak strongly to our commitment to the rule of law and the proper administration of justice. So I would say to her, stay tuned. There are legislative interventions underway to address the fundamental elements of our concern, but I'm quite satisfied that our judges are duly appointed and our courts are discharging their constitutional function at present.
All right, a little detour there, a little detour. All right, so you were looking for volunteers for the program, is that right? How does that work exactly? What type of volunteers are we talking about?
We're looking for legal professionals, we're looking for paralegals, we're looking for administrative and IT professionals. Just come on down. The volunteers can register at www.assistlegal.net/Bahamas. And so once you're an IT professional, administrative professional, legal professional, come on down. All hands on deck.
Right.
More the merrier.
Can I say also register because you recourse to your services and need for your services will continue beyond tomorrow.
Right.
So even if you're not available for tomorrow, do register.
And I do want to stress that persons with varied skills can volunteer. I want to underscore that because remember, we are actually taking clinics mobile.
Right.
So that means we need all of the services, all of the functions in a law firm. We're just taking them into different spaces.
So no deadline per se because this is going to be ongoing.
This is going to be an ongoing thing. And I would also like to appeal to my young law students. If you are a student at UB and you're studying law, perhaps you're studying to become a paralegal, to my students at the Eugene DePuche Law School, who I know are going to show full support, right?
Yes.
And all of the students who are
yes.
studying abroad in the UK who are home for the summer, please log on. The wonderful thing about this program is that even when you return to your place of study, you will still be able to provide some service to us back at home. So
Right.
we are really interested in building that database. All hands on deck. The more, the merrier, because certainly the more persons that we have, we will be able to provide broader services, larger areas of law, and it makes many hands make light work.
All right.
Sounds like a great training ground too.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so we whetted the appetite. Let's give people all the details about Saturday, what they can expect on June 25th.
Okay,
Nicole,
so our inaugural Community Legal Aid Fair is going to be held this Saturday, the 25th of June, and we're going to be at the Columbus Primary between the hours of 9 and 3 p.m. Persons who are interested in securing some legal advice are free to come down. We will have a team of attorneys on the ground who will be there to sit with you and speak with you. We'll be doing 30-minute consultations for members of the public. If perchance you were to come and we're having a capacity issue, because as I've indicated, generally response is pretty overwhelming. We are also going to be facilitating virtual consultations for you, so you'll be able to sign up. Someone from the team will be in touch with you to arrange that virtual consultation sometime within the 14 days that follows. So we're providing two services. You can come face-to-face. We will meet with you, speak with you, or if that is not convenient, just come visit us on site and we will assign someone to meet with you virtually.
But you don't need to make an appointment.
You don't need to make an appointment, just come.
Are there any things that you would say, don't show up for? Or that you want to change your name, or you're trying to, get a paternity test? I don't know.
No, actually, all of those things are going to be. It's a very good question because we do get questions like that,
Yeah.
right? So again, and I think it speaks to this issue. One of the things we're trying to cause people to understand is when they have a legal issue. You
Yeah.
need to be able to recognize what is the legal, whether or not it's a legal issue. And sometimes a 15-minute conversation with an attorney will clarify that for you. In terms of support services, one of the other wonderful things about this program that is somewhat different, again, is we're trying to provide those support services.
Right.
So if you wish to change your name, there's a process for that. We will have people there who can walk you through that process, show you what the forms look like. If you're going to need some help filling out the form, we can assist you with that right there on the day. So we're trying to pretty much give immediate response, an immediate response. So we don't want you to walk away feeling that you haven't gotten anything.
Right.
At least you would have gotten a question answered. You will know where to go. There are certain agencies that provide certain support services. A conversation with us can probably direct you in the right direction. Yeah.
All right, so if you want to attend it virtually, that can happen that day, or will you have to make the
We will make the
arrangements?
appointments on that day, and you will have the
Okay.
consultation within the 14 days.
Right,
that
so you
follow.
still have to come there to make that
You s-
virtual.
You still have to do that.
Okay.
And I see the question in your eyes, Dwight. You're like, why are we doing it that way? It's only because this is our inaugural event.
Okay.
All right. So I did mention the Caribbean Agency for Justice Solutions. They are building out a software platform in the background right now for us that is going to manage all of these things. So once we're completed with the pilot and we've done some initial testing and seeing what systems work, because that's really what we're doing now, we are going to find a way to do as much of this as we can online.
Okay.
And the other thing that we do need to do is we need to build out our volunteer capacity.
Right.
The more volunteers, once we have the volunteers on deck, we will be able to do a lot more of these things virtually. But at the moment, right now, there are 3 of us who labor in the civil legal aid space in the clinic. And so we are doing our best, but that's why we're here. We are appealing to members of the public, get on board. Once you come in, we will be able to improve this. That's our goal. It's to be long term. And so, we fully intend to leverage technology going forward.
So how many do you think will be out there, lawyers, on Saturday? Do you have any idea at this time?
At this point, we anticipate 30, and
Okay.
persons are still signing up. So we expect to have some pretty decent capacity
Yeah.
on Saturday.
All right. All right. Okay, Kevin, they're asking for that volunteer email address again. Give it to us one more time.
www.assistlegal.net/Bahamas.
All right, so that's the website there. That's what people do. Yeah. Yeah. All
Right. And if you have any other questions, volunteers, please feel free to email us at edls.edu.bs. I'm sorry, so that's legal
That's
aid.
Eugene DePuge Law School.
Right.
EDLS.
Right.
All right. This is wonderful stuff. Keep us posted on this. Definitely want to talk more about this, and we're very happy that this is happening, that you all are doing this. Keep up the great work.
Thank you.
And Khalil Parker, we got to have you back. We have some real legal issues to discuss with you on the show, but and with the Eugene DePuge Law School as well. So we're looking forward to talking with you all more. Nicole Sutherland King, Kevin Farrington, and Khalil Parker, QC. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you, Dwight.
Thank you.
We're going to take a break and be back with more.
And Chester. Thank you, Chester.
This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Stay with us.
Around the world, Cleveland Clinic is recognized as a leader in healthcare. Our team of experts relentlessly pursues the best for our patients. From groundbreaking cancer research to state-of-the-art heart surgery, life-saving innovations happen here every day. When it's time to travel for your health, it's time to travel to Cleveland Clinic. Your destination for care. For every care in the world. To learn more, visit clevelandclinic.org/Caribbean.
Switch for better when you move your mortgage to Scotiabank.
Leave behind that old mortgage plan and open the door to a low interest rate. No payments for up to 2 months and cash back of 2.5% of the mortgage amount up to US $10,000. And guess what? It gets better. Apply for your Scotiabank credit card and enjoy a low 9.99% introductory rate for the first 6 months. Switch for better and upgrade your mortgage today with Scotiabank. Offer ends June 30th, 2022.
Wherever you're headed, the Custom Computers Know-How team is standing by to help guide you in the East and the West. We now have 2 convenient locations on Patton Street in Palmdale and our newest store in the Caves Village Shopping Plaza through the Blake Road entrance. Discover the latest products by top international brands and the knowledge you need to unleash tomorrow's technology today. Drop by Custom Computers out east or out west. We're open Saturdays from 10 till 4.
I used to think of the bank as my personal ATM machine. If I wanted a new car, new furniture, a weekend trip to Miami, no problem, just max out the credit card or top up my loan. I was a big baller until I realized that 75% of my salary was going to pay back all those loans. Fidelity's personal financial coaching was the best solution. Fidelity gave me a plan with a debt consolidation loan that has a built-in savings that pays 5% interest. I now only have one low monthly payment, plus money in my pocket. Give Fidelity Bank a call at 356-7764 in Nassau or 352-6676 in Freeport. Visit any of Fidelity's locations or visit a website at fidelitygroup.com.
The Water and Sewage Corporation advises customers residing in the areas of Blue Hill Road North, East Street, Palmdale, Shirley Street, Kemp Road, Village Road, Bay and West Bay Streets that the corporation will commence disconnection of water supply on Monday, June 20th, 2022 in the mentioned areas. To avoid disconnection of the water supply, customers whose accounts are in arrears or who have not honored their financial agreements are advised to see that their accounts are brought up to date or risk the disconnection of their water supply without further notice.
Are you an attorney with a joint practice operating from one location? Accepting payments from clients doesn't have to be complicated.
Introducing RBC MultiPay. Now each attorney can securely accept and settle payments with one point-of-sale device supporting multiple bank accounts.
With competitive pricing, training, and easy setup, you will be up and running in no time.
Call 356-8500 to sign up for
RBC
MultiPay.
One thing there is no debate about is that BTC has the best rates. Now, the best rates just got better because you pay half the price of the other guys with your BTC home internet and mobile services combined. Switching to BTC is a no-brainer because I pay less with BTC and get super fast internet with speeds up to 600 megs. The other guys, their internet only go up to 105 megs.
Get all the internet you want at half the price when you bundle your home internet and mobile. Visit a BTC store to make the switch today. Conditions apply.
Earning zero interest on your savings at the bank? With as little as $100, you can start earning interest on your money while you're sleeping, eating, or standing in line at the bank with the CFAL Savings Express Plan. Ready to invest? Start by putting $1,000 into our mutual funds and earn interest there too. Because at CFAL, your interest is our interest. Visit CFAL.com to start now. CFAL, growing wealth for future generations of Bahamians.
That's right, boys and girls. Get ready to play basketball at the 34th Annual Jeff Rogers Basketball Camp, July 4th through July 29th at the Kendall J. Isaacs Gym, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. daily. So parents, get your boys and girls ages 5 through 18 registered now. Applications available at the South Bahamas Conference of Seventh-day Adventists, Tonic Williams Darling Highway, and at the registration desk at Campsite Kendall J. Isaacs Gym. Special appearances by NBA players, legends, and coaches. So get your boys and girls registered now, ages 5 through 18, for the 34th Annual Jeff Rogers Basketball Camp, July 4th through July 29th.
Imagine driving your dream car, doing all the things you never thought you could, like perfecting your parallel parking skills or picking up your date. Everyone loves to dream. Stop dreaming. Start driving with a brand new offer from Scotiabank. With an auto loan from Scotiabank, benefit from no payments for up to 2 months, a low interest rate up to 9 years to repay, and free insurance for the first year up to 2.5% of the loan amount. Promotion ends June 30th, 2022. Stop dreaming and start driving today with an auto loan from Scotiabank.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
This is the Guardian News Network update on the hour. That report, which cited low voter turnout and a lack of grassroots campaigning as the main reasons the Free National Movement lost the last general election, is being dismissed as less than objective by the party's chairman, Dr. Dwayne Sands. He says the leaked document is just one of many views of the circumstances leading to the FNM's defeat. It says the FNM's leadership team takes note of it, but does not accept that report as a comprehensive or entirely objective assessment of the facts or indeed as a defining roadmap for the party's way forward. That report recommended that the party organize its grassroots supporters and focus more on eligible rather than just registered voters in order to rebound in 4 years' time. In other news, Deputy Commissioner of Police Clayton Fernando will take over as Commissioner of Police when Paul Roll retires from that office July 5th. Cabinet confirmed that Fernando was recommended to the Governor-General by the Prime Minister after consultation with the opposition leader. Assistant Commissioner of Police Liam Mandelivo will serve as Deputy Commissioner, also effective July 5th. And National Security Minister Wayne Munro has said that government intends to demolish shantytowns not covered by a Supreme Court injunction. He was responding to criticism that government is moving quickly to remove persons from Crown land in the Carmichael area, but not from shantytowns. Munro told reporters that shantytowns are built largely on privately owned land. Still, he said he understands the Ministry of Works will continue seeking to demolish all illegally built properties that are not the subject of the 2018 Supreme Court injunction, which prohibits government's demolition of shantytown homes in disputed areas without court approval. That's what's making headlines at this hour. Stay with us. AP Update is next.
Crisis in Ukraine. I'm Rita Foley with an AP News Minute. U.S. officials say they are still trying to learn more about 2 American military veterans captured while fighting with the Ukrainians.
They will be punished. They should be punished. Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov on NBC's Today Show asked about the 2 Americans, Alex Drueke and Andy Wynn. They're treated properly, but you have to understand, those guys on the battlefield were firing at our military guys. Could they be sentenced to death as other foreign fighters have? I cannot guarantee anything. It depends on the investigation. That drew this reaction from White House National Security spokesman John Kirby.
It's appalling that a public official in Russia would even suggest the death penalty for 2 American citizens that were in Ukraine.
Meanwhile, the State Department has confirmed the death of a U.S. citizen in Ukraine, believed to be the second American killed while fighting there. Ben Thomas, Washington.
And I'm Rita Foley.
This is Guardian Radio, your station for up-to-the-minute news, intelligent, interactive, and engaging conversation. 96.9 FM. The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the position of the management and staff of Guardian Network.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Good morning and welcome to Morning Blend Business on this Wednesday, June 22nd, 2022. Welcome back to our Morning Blend listeners. Once again, I'm Dwight Strachan along with Chester Robards, and this morning we are talking about insurance. We've got representatives from the Bahamas Insurance Association with us. Very pleased to welcome back to the show. It's been a while for both of them. Charles Johnson, Senior Manager at J.S. Johnson, and Marcus Bosland, the resident actuary with Galena. Good morning. Great to have you with us.
Morning. Great to be here. Dwight. Justin.
All right, so there is a lot going on in terms of rates, in terms of taxes, VAT, so much to get to. Let's begin with the prices and what's been happening and what's causing this. That's affecting people's wallets and bottom lines there, and there's so much impacting that. But what we're seeing and what we're expecting to see over the next few months and years even.
Yes.
All right, so Charles, I guess you want to start us off there. That's on the casualty side.
Yes, on the recently there's been some talk about possible rate increases for property insurance, and as you know, the rates in the Bahamas and the Caribbean, it's driven by the reinsurers. They are the wholesalers. Mm-hmm. The local insurance company has very little control over pricing, and what is really driving the concern, as we all know, is really the what's happening with global warming. And reinsurers, the way they are beginning to look at the pricing of reinsurance for insurers is based upon the science that is being produced. The whole modeling concept for pricing is changing. And, the frequency of hurricanes and the severity of hurricanes is certainly a major concern, and as a result, it's going to impact the price. It is anticipated that when insurers go to market, so to speak, at the end of this year for their renewal of their treaties for 2023, we can expect to see in this area in the Caribbean at least a 15% increase in reinsurance costs.
Wow.
Now, that cost will be passed down to insureds. We don't operate as a cartel, so each individual insurance company will then have to interpret those costs and determine the extent to which they will pass that cost on to their clients. Mm-hmm. But we are experiencing in the industry rates for catastrophic coverage at a level that is probably the highest it's been. I think following Matthew many years ago, the rates may have jumped a bit, but it came down. But since Dorian, we've seen an average market increase of over 10%, mm-hmm. and if we're looking at an increase on top of that, it's going to be, it's going to be a little bit tough.
Yeah, and there's no sign that it will come down anytime soon?
I don't think so, not anytime soon, because another very interesting is happening in that some of the major reinsurers, recently we've had one of them who actually withdrew from the cat market. Right. That is, there's going to be a reduction in capacity for insurers to purchase reinsurance. And the demand for insurance is increasing. Even on the local side, we see a lot of larger construction going on. A lot of resorts are being built. Mm-hmm. There is a great demand for catastrophic insurance in the Bahamas today. And it is not an easy proposition for a local insurance company to find a placement for cat cover. So, it's a dilemma, I would imagine, that is evolving.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So what should regular consumers take away from this? So what just brace yourself for higher premiums? What is the takeaway?
I think so. I mean, the industry is very mindful and conscious of what's happening, because this prediction of a rate increase, is coming on the heels of Dorian, which has really adversely affected the economy. Unemployment is still on the low side. Mm-hmm. Inflation is increasing, mm-hmm. and these factors really put the local insurers and brokers in a predicament in terms of how do you pass this cost on to the local consumer. So this is something I think has to be worked out in the best interest of everybody.
Do homeowners now also need to get their properties reevaluated given inflation and the costs of, should anything happen, the cost of the items to fix their homes now?
That's a very interesting point, and certainly I would recommend that because, see, that's the other factor. With the supply chain issue, inflation, the cost of goods is going up, which essentially means your property value is increasing. Therefore, while the rates are threatening to increase, one should also be considering increasing the value of the insured value of their property. There is certainly a requirement under the conditions of your policy that you insure for the full replacement value, which means that one has to pay close attention to the increasing value. The home that you built for $100,000 5 years ago, it's going to reflect all of these increases.
Yeah.
So you should be looking at a higher insured value.
Yeah.
Yes.
We talked about this a few weeks ago on the show that with the shortages that we're seeing with new vehicles being available, that even used cars are holding more of their value as well, and I guess costing more to insure. Even significantly old vehicles. What impact is that having, or how is that causing folks to adjust their choices they make?
Yeah, exactly. I'll tell you. With your private vehicle, some insurance companies usually apply a standard deductible on an annual basis. I think some companies are rethinking that because while one may have ordinarily reduced the value by 10% or 15% because of depreciation, with inflation, you may want to waive that reduction in depreciation at least for a year or two.
Wow. In
order for persons to be able to replace their vehicle if it is in fact written off. We haven't seen a major impact on the supply chain in terms of the availability of auto parts, but we suspect as time go on that will also be a challenge, which may then force insurers to write off vehicles more quickly than they ordinarily would have if parts are not available. So the whole costing effect of what's going on now, again, can result in increased premiums to the consumer.
Wow. Okay, that's a lot there, and of course we've got taxes, VAT, and that's causing some shifts as well. Marcus Bosfield, tell us about that and what's happening with life and health insurance.
Sure. Thanks for that, Dwight. The health insurance industry is on the cusp of a fairly big change, and we've been, as the BIA, in discussions with the government about it, and I think this might be our first sort of public statement about it. The Department of Inland Revenue intends to prevent insurance companies from deducting VAT on our medical claims. Their position is that the VAT on medical claims, medical expenses, is VAT that ought to be paid by the insured person. And that is a very dramatic change to how we've been operating in the past. When VAT was implemented, the government took a somewhat unusual step of adding VAT to medical services and adding VAT to medical insurance. But naturally, people buy medical insurance to pay their medical bills. That's the purpose of it. Certainly, it's our biggest input. It's the thing that we spend the most money in delivering health insurance. And the proposition that medical services are not deemed an input for a health insurance company is quite an unusual proposition from our perspective. But what it means is that even if you have insurance, it means that VAT bill, whereas currently it's shared between yourself and your health insurance company in the same proportion as the underlying claim is shared, essentially the government's position is now that is on you. And that's quite a radical change. The industry has been, like I mentioned, discussing this with the Ministry of Finance for several months. They have demonstrated some flexibility around the issue, but their fundamental position is unchanged in that the VAT that we currently pay and recover in the process of doing our business is now that for the insured. It will be a very significant burden. We are doing some data collection within the industry, and while I don't have the final figures, I can confirm that on an annual basis, we currently pay and then recover over $10 million in VAT on medical claims. Wow. That is over $10 million that will now be borne by our clients.
Wow.
So it is, from our perspective, a quite an unusual move. We've been seeking a rationale from the Ministry of Finance for some time. Their position simply is that because we are not party to the medical service, which of course we are not, and no company ends up in the hospital, right. That is, in their minds, a totally separate service that has nothing to do with your insurance. And we don't understand that from a rational perspective because it is clear to us, and I think it'll be clear to the public, that the reason health insurance exists is to pay people's health bills. That's the whole deal, right? So for us, it's quite naturally and obviously an input, just to use the language of the VAT legislation. It's quite obviously an input. And a position that causes us to not treat it like an input while having to charge VAT on our premiums to our clients, in our mind, doesn't make sense. Certainly, if health insurance were exempt, not getting back VAT on claims would make sense. And it would be fair to our clients because they wouldn't have to pay VAT on our premiums as well. But to have a circumstance where they're forced to pay VAT, which is something we've accepted, but yet, unlike any other business, we would not be able to recover VAT that we pay on our biggest expense. In our minds, is not fair to our customers. So this is, for us, a very serious issue. We've been, like I said, advocating on behalf of our industry and on behalf of our clients for some time. But the Ministry of Finance seems steadfast, and they seem determined to implement this change.
Yeah. When is it supposed to go into effect?
Well, this is one of the matters that the ministry has demonstrated some flexibility on. The formal position that they've put to us is that it will be in effect come July, but they've indicated verbally that they are willing to be flexible on that. As an industry, we believe that this matter, while the industry it affects is primarily the health insurance industry, our view is that this affects the entire Bahamian public, and we believe it needs public consultation. I think people should have a right to understand the change and how it affects them and their bottom line. And they should have a right to tell the government how they feel about the change. Similarly, the medical providers, we think, need to be consulted with. They have to understand how this change affects their business as well, and their practices and policies. And they, I think, also have a right to express to the government how they feel about the change. So while I don't have a very firm answer for you, I can tell you from the BIA's perspective that we believe July 1st is way too soon to have any sort of public consultation or public education. Because if the government decides, listen, this is what they're going to do, they have every right to proceed. They're elected for the purpose of making these decisions for Bahamians. But at the very least, the people need to be informed about how this change could affect their lives. And the business community that relies on health insurance needs to be informed so that they can make whatever changes that they deem necessary.
Well, break it down for us a little bit further. What would it look like to the person going in for this service and then getting this bill back from the institution that they go to?
And there are some unknowns about that.
Okay,
so
right.
let me give you the two most likely scenarios. The first would be the insurance industry accepts the government's position that the VAT on the medical service is the responsibility of the insured.
Right.
So if you have a medical service, let's say it costs, let's say $20,000, right? So that might be something like maybe a pregnancy or some minor surgical procedure. VAT on $20,000 is $2,000, right? So currently what happens to that VAT is that's shared with the insurance company. So let's say the insurance company is currently paying 80% of the cost. That $2,000 VAT gets split 80-20, just like the underlying claim. The ministry's new position is that is due to that's payable by the insured. So the insured person's bill, instead of before, they paid 20% of $2,000, $400, right? They pay $400 VAT.
Right.
Instead, they'll be paying $2,000 VAT, right? So that's option one, right? Their premiums won't have to change because the insurance company still pays, in this case, 80% of the 20 grand, right? So their premiums are the same. But on the VAT standpoint, instead of sharing that, they take the whole brunt.
Right.
The other possibility is that the insurer decides as a policy that, they're going to pay the VAT. They're going to continue to pay their percentage of the VAT that they currently pay. But you know how VAT works. VAT is a consumer tax.
Right.
Ultimately, the consumer is going to pay for VAT.
Right.
So in this case, the insurance company would now have to pay additional expense on the client's behalf.
Right.
In order to do that, the company will have to raise its premium rates.
Right.
So either way you cut it, it comes back to the point that the VAT that companies currently can deduct in making their remittance to the government, which, as I mentioned to you, is in excess of $10 million for the industry per year. Either way, consumers will end up having to pay that burden. Either they pay it directly at the point of service to their medical provider, or they pay it indirectly through increased premiums to their insurer.
Wow. And you say that you're seeking a rationale. You still haven't gotten a firm answer as to why they want to do the switch.
And this is the odd thing about our discussions to this point, is that each time we seek a rationale, they essentially restate their decision, which is VAT, they deem that VAT on the medical service is that of the insured, which is really not an explanation as to why VAT for a health insurance company would operate differently from VAT on any other business, because how all VAT works for all businesses, VAT stands for value added tax. How it works for everyone is you take your revenues, you deduct your expenses, and you pay VAT on the difference. That's how it works for every business. And to treat medical services as not being part of our business, it's true that we don't deliver the medical service, but that has never been in contention. Everyone knows how health insurance works. We're not doctors, right? But what we do is we pay people's medical bills. That's what we do. And to treat the payment of such a medical bill as not being an input to our production of health insurance does not make sense to us.
Right.
It is not only is it what we do, it is literally the only reason people pay us money. This is the whole deal. So to take something so fundamental and to exclude it from the range of expenses that we can deduct, to us does not make sense, and it deserves an explanation. And like I said, an explanation has not been forthcoming. Now, having said all of that, we've been trying to get a meeting with the policymakers, and the policymakers may in fact have an explanation.
Right.
But for want of a better word, the technocrats that we've been speaking to, they have not given us what we consider to be an explanation.
Right. Wow. So what do you anticipate? You mentioned it. Premiums may likely go up. Do you think this could mean folks will drop their insurance? Well, what are the outcomes, the likely outcomes here?
Yeah, I mean, it is going to cause hardship all around. To the extent the industry decides to pay VAT on behalf this time of the insureds, premiums go up. That is going to put some, significant pricing pressure on our business. And some of our clients may not be able to afford it. That is the reality. But it's not just our clients we're concerned about. This affects the medical providers as well. We mentioned before $20,000 expense with a $2,000 VAT. The health insurance industry deals with claims way larger than $20,000.
Yeah.
I've dealt with 3 in my career at my firm that hit $2 million. Wow. Think about a $100,000 claim. We do dozens of these per year. A $100,000 claim. That is $10,000 VAT. Mm-hmm. You would probably be well advised to travel to Miami to avoid paying 10 grand. So whereas a local hospital with local doctors and nurses could treat you, if all of a sudden the local providers are $10,000 more expensive than the foreign ones, it might make sense for you to leave for that service. And that certainly benefits overseas medical providers, and it certainly harms local ones. And obviously that will only happen for things that you can schedule and so on. If it's an emergency, it's an emergency.
Right.
But this could harm the medical industry, particularly when it comes to big ticket, expensive procedures. So they have a big stake in this.
Yeah. Are you hearing from them? Are you talking with them? Or are they speaking out about this? I don't think I've heard much.
To our knowledge, they have not been consulted about this matter. So to the extent that they know, I could not vouch. I think because this is an imminent change, they ought to know. Certainly from the BIA's perspective, we think we've advocated behind closed doors for over 6 months. We think it's time to now advocate publicly. And even if our cries fall on deaf ears, it's important for the public to at least understand the change that's happening, because it's going to affect everyone with health insurance.
Yeah. Well, on the government side, this could also now start to put a strain on NHI.
Well, it is unusual, because you're right in that the successive governments, very much including this current administration, has seen health insurance as being very important for the Bahamian public, and NHI is a very clear expression of that value. That it's important to have some sort of protection to ensure that if you're ill, you can be seen to. And it strikes us that this decision moves very much in the opposite direction. It makes health insurance more expensive for everyone who has it. And it probably will decrease the number of Bahamians covered by health insurance.
Wow. Wow. All right. So what's next? You say you have you're hoping to meet with the policy makers. What do you do in the meantime, and after that?
Ultimately, the government has a right to do whatever it wishes, right? We have advocated that there needs to be public consultation on this matter. The public should be told of the change and ask their view as to whether the change serves them. Mm-hmm. We believe that there should be specific consultation in addition with the medical community. They need to understand what's happening, and their voice needs to be heard. And outside of consultation, because consultation I see as a process of gathering information so that you can make a good decision. Right. Once they've made a good decision, we think this matter is sufficiently important as to require some public education. So those who are not involved in the consultation process, which honestly tends to be more stakeholders who tend to involve themselves, because it does take time and effort to involve yourself in the consultation process. Mm-hmm. But people need to be informed. You guys remember when VAT came out, there was massive public education about it, massive. And I have to say the government did an excellent job in ensuring that people understood how VAT would work, and businesses understood, and they can retool their systems and processes to make it happen. Mm-hmm. This change, while not as dramatic as the implementation of that, is very significant. And we think there needs to be some time given towards public education to make sure the people accessing medical care understand what's likely to happen if they get seriously ill.
What's likely to happen is we heard the government say the days of cookouts are gone, but no, they're back. If this happens, you got to have 2 cookouts now.
Yeah, one specifically for that.
Oh boy!
Seriously,
no, I know it, but
that's what it sounds like to me.
No, but we say that, but I mean, it is a serious issue.
Yeah,
for those of us who are blessed with good health, right, and we all wish that that's us, right. It's not necessarily going to be the biggest deal. The concern will be the increase in premiums that you pay potentially. But if you get seriously ill and that VAT is your burden to bear, right? And like I said, $100,000, $200,000, these are routine quantities that every health insurer pays every year in abundance, right? Claims like that are normal. And if you have to bear that burden of VAT all by yourself, I mean, how many people have 10 grand, 20 grand in their bank account just waiting to pay to their doctor? People don't have that kind of money. And people buy insurance to protect them from exactly that.
Right. Yeah.
But the change could potentially leave people with that gap that they then have to finance for themselves.
Very scary indeed. Let's hear what you have to say about it, folks. Give us a call, 323-6232. 325-4316, 325-4259. Tweet us, Facebook us, text us if you have any questions. 422-4796. All right, so those are some big issues. Any other issues out there that have you a bit concerned, or that you think the public should know about in terms of changes that we're seeing in the industry, in the insurance industry, and the fallout from the pandemic and from inflation and all the other things that are happening in the world right now?
Dwight, I just want to say, to the insuring public, despite the fact that inflation is up, the threat of rate increases there is, if you have an option to insure or not to insure your property, I think it's always best to insure. We've had very good examples of what has happened in Abaco and in Grand Bahama. Persons who opt not to insure their property, even though you may be able to uninsure for a few years, you find that when you're faced with a catastrophic event like Dorian, very few persons are in a position to repair or replace their property. So, we want to encourage the insuring public, and this is the time of the year. We're now in the hurricane season, and we've heard the statements with regards to this season being one that is going to generate some severe storms. Persons should seriously be talking to their insurers to arrange insurance coverage most of the insurance companies, I think they've done some in-house financing arrangements to assist persons to pay their premiums over time. So, I just want to leave that with the public. Yeah. I think it's critical.
Yeah, and from the perspective of the life and health industry, I think I want to echo that sentiment. People in good health tend to undervalue the protection that insurance gives. And the issue becomes, and we see it all the time in our business, when something happens and you need insurance, you get a very different perspective on the matter. For life insurance, we insure people so that their families can be taken care of after they're gone. Their debts can be paid, their family can continue living their life as is. And for health insurance, if you get seriously ill, the costs can be staggering. And we know, all of us know of people whose lives have been impacted financially because of sickness. Right. So it is while it is easy to overlook it when you're young or when you're in good health, it performs a critical public service when you're ill. And I just urge the public to think about that. Think about the people that depend on you. Think about your needs. And make sure that you have a decent insurance plan in place to protect you and your family if and when you need it.
Yeah. Wow. Let's take this call. Good morning, caller. You are on Morning Blend Business. Hi.
Congratulations, Strachan. Always along with you and your partner, Dwight.
Hi.
We need justice, law, and order in this country. But, to the gentleman which talked about we now in the hurricane season, right? 2 questions for him, or for both of them. If one were to want to insure themselves now, their building or anything like that, right? How much time? Take for instance, a hurricane was to come, right? Would they be able to get anything, or how much time after making their first payment they're allowed to get something? My last question is, right? Sometimes you'll be paying your insurance for years, nothing happens, and you just decide to quit. Why is it that you all probably got millions or hundreds of thousands of dollars, or let's put it like this, plenty of money from an individual who never had to use the policy, right? And they get nothing. Why is that? Answer those 2 questions for me, please. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your question. With regards to the timeline for your insurance coming into effect, once you, and this is standard across the board, once you negotiate, pay a premium, your policy or the coverage come into immediate effect. There is no waiting period. So if you were to go and speak with your insurer, your broker, and they agree to insure your home, your business, your car, and they accept your premium, then you have cover immediately. So there's no waiting period. With regards to persons who may have had an insurance for several years and decide to drop the cover, then it's a very simple approach, really. I always say that it's like going to the corner store and buying a loaf of bread. You cannot go home, eat the bread, and then go back to the store and ask for a refund on your money. It's insurance companies providing a protection, and that's what you're paying for. And it's a pool. All clients within a company pays that premium into a pool. Some persons will have losses, others will not. But while one person may not claim, there are many others who are claiming, and those claims are being paid out of that fund. Just look around, and I use Dorian again as an example. The insurance industry, the property casualty side, I think paid out near to $3 billion in losses. Wow. This industry does not generate $3 billion in premiums on an annual basis. Oh. So those losses represented a very long-term period of payment by the Bahamian insuring public. So, it's not so much a question of you being entitled to a refund or some special consideration if you were insured for a period of time and happen not to have made a claim, because your neighbor may have.
So this might be a company by company policy here, but if you have never claimed and you did claim, let's say it's an accident with the vehicle, and your years of receiving a no claims benefit evaporates, how long before you could get back? If it's another decade before you don't claim, before you get back to where you were previously, or is that once you've claimed, you are forever going to be paying higher premiums?
No. Insurance companies are very forgivable. They want to insure their clients, and they're quite. The reason why we do insurance is to respond to your claims. A lot of people get the impression that insurance companies don't like paying claims, and I've been in the business for 50 years, so I know better than that. On the automobile side, there is a scale of no claims discount that is afforded, and the client is awarded a discount for not having a claim, and they can earn up to 65% discount. Now, when you do claim, that discount is reduced, but it's not all taken away from you.
Okay.
Usually the first claim, the discount will drop from, say, 65 to 45%. If you have another claim within, say, 2 years, it may drop down to 30%. Of course, if you have 3 claims, then most companies are going to look at you and say, what's going on with this guy?
Right.
And you may lose your entire discount. But of course, again, you can start to rebuild. If you go to a year without a claim, the second year you get 30%.
Yeah.
So you're always able to earn a discount on your motor. Home insurance and property insurance does not carry a no claims discount. The rates are structured, and as I said, are pretty much determined by the cost of reinsurance. So we try to price it on the best possible terms, and once it is an acceptable risk, there are numerous variables. I mean, property sitting out on the ocean is going to draw a higher rate than something that is sitting on a hill away from the water. But there is consideration always being given to clients to insure.
Yeah,
and it is a competitive industry.
Yes. So
you don't get a no claims discount on life, though.
No.
Oh boy, we got some good questions coming in our text line. Mark, is that you stuff to go, or
Nope,
you can be? Yeah. Okay. Let's take this call here. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Morning again, Mr. Strachan.
Okay. Hi.
Hi, Mr. Chester, and to your guests. You said that's the president of the Insurance Association?
No.
Who
we have Charles Johnson and Marcus Boslin with us.
Okay. My point. Two things stood out to me. One, as it relates to what Mr. Chester would have said, as it relates now to the policyholders now having to have a cookout, really, just to pay for that. And another, as it relates to, I believe Mr. Johnson would have stated, that the government can do as they wish. Respectfully, I disagree. They have to be within the bounds of the supreme law of the land, the Bahamas Constitution. And this is what I am saying, why I said that. The value-added tax bill, sir, and thank you for your time, was passed, implemented on January 1st, 2015. However, it was passed in August, the year before, in 2014. In order for bills or proposed legislation to become law, they must be passed in the House of Assembly, especially financial bills like that, money bills, like that, and also sent up to the Senate and then signed into law, assented to or not, by the Governor General. Mr. Johnson and also the reporters, Mr. Strawn and Mr. Chester, I'm calling on you, sir, if you're concerned about your customers, if you're concerned about the Bahamian people, I wish for you, because I can get no answers from anywhere, to please come to the public and let the people know when value-added tax, if it was passed in the Senate, when it was passed, and when it was signed off by the Governor General. Because, sirs, it was not. which means that value-added tax is therefore illegal, unlawful, and unconstitutional. So if you so care about your customers and if you care about the Bahamian people, all of you respectfully, I'm calling on you to check into the Cabinet and the House of Assembly and let them show you the proof that this was done. Thank you, sir.
Okay, all right. That's a project there. We'll see what we can do. Oh, boy. One final call. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning, Dwight. How are you?
Doing well.
All right. Good morning to your guests.
Good morning.
I have 2 points. I probably will need to pause for the first one. Can you please explain the deductible process and why is it such a appeared to be such a difficult thing? And also, I have another question. Is I have been willing to pay for full insurance coverage for medical insurance. I've been proposing to several insurance companies, and nobody wants to do it. I am prepared to pay for insurance coverage so that when I go to a medical facility, I only have to show my insurance card and the coverage that I have. Why isn't the insurance companies willing to provide that? Or are there any who's willing to provide that? And if that is the case, who is? Because I'm willing to do that. I'm trying to avoid this co-payment. I'm trying to avoid all the rest of the stuff. I want to be able to pay, get a medical insurance for full coverage.
Okay. All right. Let's see
Maybe
if we
I can touch on both of those.
Thank you very much.
In terms of deductibles, it's a complicated question because there's a wide variety of health insurance products on the market. If you get your insurance through your employer, there are a range of choices that your employer can make. And frankly, the biggest employers tend to negotiate their benefits and customize their benefits. So everybody pretty much has a different insurance plan, and their insurance claims work differently as a result. But all fundamentally, all a deductible is a part of your annual expenses that you have to pay before the insurance kicks in.
Mm-hmm.
So in other words, if you have a policy with, say, a $500 deductible, you have to pay $500 in medical expenses before you get any insurance. That's how the premise works.
Right.
In terms of now there's also a deductible complication on the PNC side. So I don't know, Charles, you want to just touch on?
Yeah. Well, I think the simple answer really is deductibles are applied to policies to keep the cost of the insurance down to the consumer. If, for example, on your car, most policy will carry, say, a $400, $500 deductible. You can claim for any loss in excess of that amount. If one were able to buy a motor policy with no deductible, it means that they can come into the company and claim for $50 damage to their vehicle. Well, the cost to the insurance company just to process a $50 claim will far exceed the cost of the claim itself. Mm-hmm. So I think that is, in theory, what happens with deductibles in general. With the property side, many years ago, deductibles used to be relatively low. But following, I think it was Hurricane Andrew, there were so many claims, small claims, it was very costly sending adjusters out to investigate very small claims.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And all of that cost was being passed back on to the insuring public. Yeah. So we implemented, as an industry, a 2% deductible on your property as a general rule. Mm. And that helps to keep the cost of your premium down. Mm-hmm. Because if you don't have a deductible, the cost of your insurance can go up 5-10%.
Yeah. And also, I don't know, for clarity, some people think that has to come out of their pocket. Sometimes it's put into the either monthly payments, or however that works, or does it actually come out of your pocket?
Essentially, it does come out of your pocket, except that if you have to, for instance, on a home, if you have a house insured for $100,000 and you have a claim for $20,000, well, your 2% deductible of $2,000 will be deducted from the $20,000 claim.
Right.
Okay, so you'll have to But you get your $18,000,
Right.
you can go ahead and get your work done and find a way to finance the $2,000. Yes.
And
All
I
right,
think,
and the
I
other
think that
part-
answer sort of addresses the caller's other question. If I understood the question, he wanted a health insurance policy that pays every single medical expense. And that's quite unusual. I'm not aware of any private insurer that offers that. Usually, while it would pay most, and you can get a very rich plan that pays the vast majority of your expenses, usually you're called on to dip into your pocket for some part of the expense. So I'm not aware of anyone that has a health insurance product that pays every single medical expense.
Okay, I have an interesting deductible story. So I think somebody smashed a piece of glass, on my car.
Yes.
And the deductible was $149.
Yes.
But to get the work done was $150. I'm like, well, what is? But anyway, that's how things work.
Yeah, but I'll tell you, Dwight, just to be specific with regards to windscreen damage on vehicles, most companies would provide a specific amount of coverage for windscreen damage without the application of deductible.
Okay.
So some companies will provide, say, $1,000 or $1,500 just for your windscreen, because people know that you can have a small part of the window damage,
Right. Yeah.
and it's going to cost you $200-$300.
Yeah.
So in that instance, the $400 standard deductible will not apply.
Okay.
Okay.
That's
It's
good.
only when the main part of the vehicle is damaged.
Clearly, I
Yes.
need to switch my insurance. But okay, so
I wouldn't say that.
No. All right, this person says here, what about partial insurance? Let me see if I can pull it up. But what about partial insurance? Maybe insuring the roof or just the contents, or flood for people who cannot afford full insurance. Is that an option? Or is that a possibility?
No, that's a no insurance. The policy conditions require that one insure for the full replacement value of the property. The challenge really is if one were able to insure partially, the question is always what part of that building you are insuring. And it would also be considered being selective against the insurance company, because persons will then insure perhaps the most vulnerable part of the structure. The way the rates are designed, it's to be able to charge an appropriate premium for the exposure at risk, rather than, just insuring. If your house is in a swamp and you can insure, in a way just for flooding,
Right.
in one sense, that would not be the proper thing to do. So it is important, and this is where we experience some of the greatest challenge when we have catastrophic losses. There are a lot of persons who are underinsured, and as a result, even though with insurance, they are not able to receive sufficient money to repair or to replace their structure. So we constantly remind our clients at every renewal. As a matter of fact, in some instances, we get them to sign a declaration, understanding that it's clear to them that if they insure for less than the replacement value, then they will have to contribute to the repair costs.
Right. Wow. We're running out of time here, but this texter is saying you did a great job explaining the VAT portion on the bill, but I was alarmed when the government reduced VAT to 10% across the board without saying that insurance, which had a zero VAT now, has 10% VAT applied. All right. So is this a direct consequence of that, or is this something different, or do we know?
The Ministry of Finance has not made a linkage in any of their statements to us. I think the general public knows that the government's financials are not the best, and that taxes have to rise or expenses have to fall to close the gap. And I think the public would generally be okay with that. The particular concern that we have about this plan is the burden is seemingly placed just on health insurance users, and we're not comfortable with that. If indeed the government thinks its VAT receipts are too low and ought to be raised, they can increase the rate again. I think that's a perfectly reasonable outcome. It may not be consistent with their previous statements on it, and they may not be comfortable for that reason. But we think that'd be fair. But to specifically target health insurance users and say, for these clients, you're going to have to pay an extra amount of VAT, not a change in the rate, admittedly, but more VAT nonetheless on your purchase of the products. We believe that's inappropriate.
There's a perception out there that people who can afford insurance can afford to pay more. Is that fair at all? I know that it's inaccurate, but what do you say to that?
I think it's completely unfair. And the reality is, I think from a public policy standpoint, the community has an interest on more people being insured for health, right? Because it takes away a burden that otherwise society pays. If someone gets seriously ill, say hurt in an accident, and they go to PMH, they are served, regardless of whether they have insurance. The public pays for that, right? If they had insurance, the insurance company would pay for that. So we all share in an interest, whether or not we have insurance, we all share an interest in more in our society having health insurance. And to increase the cost in this way on such a vital product, we think is inappropriate.
Yeah. We are out of time, gentlemen. Thank you so much for being here this morning. Charles Johnson and Marcus Bosselin, thank you both for being here, speaking on behalf of the Bahamas Insurance Association. And keep us posted with this. Definitely need to know what's going on. And a lot for people to think about today. But thank you again.
Thank you as well.
Appreciate it.
We appreciate it on behalf of the Bahamas Insurance Association. I'm sure our PR personnel will be happy to come back and talk more about insurance with you.
Wonderful, wonderful. All right, we're going to take a break and then be back to wrap things up. Stay with us.
The Access Accelerator Small Business Development Center is here to help small businesses throughout the entire Bahamas. To better serve you, we've made it easier to contact us. Call 461-7232, WhatsApp 359-0626, or 359-2394, email helpdesk@spdcbahamas.com, or submit a ticket when you visit our help center at accessaccelerator.org. The Access Accelerator, empowering small business.
The Water and Sewage Corporation advises residents of Pinecrest Drive, South Beach East, that the corporation will commence improvement work on Tuesday, May 31st, 2022, for a duration of 5 weeks, from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. daily. During this period, there may be some interruption in the water supply, road closure, and detours around the work area. Motorists are advised to avoid the area where possible. The corporation apologizes for any inconvenience caused and appreciates your support as they work to improve their level of service.
At Western Union, we have different sending options for you to use the one that fits you best. You can send money directly to bank accounts around the world, or for cash pickup by visiting our agent locations. Or you can also start your money transfer in our app and then pay cash in store. Look for an agent location near you, or download our app and send money to your loved ones abroad.
Ready to save? You can put $100 into the CFAL Savings Express Plan and make sure your money keeps growing. Earn interest on your savings while you're sleeping, eating, or standing in line at the bank. Ready to invest? Start by putting $1,000 into our mutual funds and earn interest there too. Because at CFAL, your interest is our interest. Visit CFAL.com to start now. CFAL, growing wealth for future generations of Bahamians.
Beulah, gal, can you believe this? We are now the patrol queens of the neighborhood. We now large and in charge. So we need to check out what's going on in everybody's yard. What about that gun that we know that Junior and his homeboys just ran out? Can we report that too? Of course we can. But we could be in deep trouble if they find out. We need to report what we see, Beulah. When you call Crime Stoppers, they just answer your call in Miami. So then we can report everything? Guns, where they hiding the drugs, who shoot who part of which gang, or who disturbing the peace with the loud music and the motorcycles. Then our neighborhood will be the best in the Bahamas, and everybody gonna want to come live here. And then our house price will go up, gal. So what we waiting on? What's the number?
If you see something, say something. Let us all pitch in and stop the crime before it's your time. Call 328-8477 from Nassau or 242-300-8477 from the Family Islands. Or text us through the Crack Crime Bahamas app. Stop the crime before it's your time.
And that is it for us today. Be sure to pick up today's NASA Guardian and the Guardian Business section and take a look at that at Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan with you along with Chester Robards. Again, Chester, have a great birthday.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
And stay tuned for On the Clock with Aaron Green. Remember, Morning Blend Business brought to you in part by CFAL, growing wealth for future generations. On the Clock with Aaron Green coming up next.